Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, MT, with like always is Noah Bailey. So, today we're going to play a little game to try to determine what we believe to be the best DC animated movie. So, we've compiled this list here of pretty much every DC animated movie. We left off a couple because they're either bad or we just haven't seen them before. They're listed in release order, so there's no favoritism. They're just here's the list.
Did not notice that. Nice.
And there are 36 movies on here that we either really like or just want to talk about. Um, so the way this game will work is we'll take turns listing one that we feel like we can live with getting rid of until we can't, and we have to argue for a while about it. Each of us have two saves where if for some stupid reason I say, hey, let's take off Mask of the Phantasm first, no, I can rightfully go, no, I want to save that.
How dare you?
I'm not going to do that.
Wow.
And then after two turns, it'll be up to be picked again. But obviously, I'm not going to do that because that'd be stupid. But in theory, that's how that works. And we'll just keep chiseling away until we're down to one. So I'll let you go first.
Okay. Okay. So this is like I said, this is one of those that's gonna like start a little bit easy and then get really difficult and then
Oh
slowly
yeah.
get easier as we kind of accept, okay, we can't save them all.
Mm-hmm.
Um First one off the board, I am going to pick Wonder Woman 2009 just because for me, this movie
Mm-hmm.
is like ideal. This is like in that era when they were just kind of making a lot of standalone DC movies. It was kind of in between, like DCAU was kind of done, but they hadn't really started a new universe yet. So like this is kind
Yeah.
of the same era where they had like the Green Lantern First Flight movie,
Mm-hmm.
Superman Doomsday, like a lot of these like they're listed obviously, but
Yeah.
but like a lot of these movies were kind of just doing something. And while a lot of those are really good, this Wonder Woman movie just didn't really do it for me. It has some pretty good animation. It has some good
Mm-hmm.
moments I like. But
Yeah.
the villains, I mean, it's a lot of forgettable villainy. The
Yeah.
action's kind of it's not that great overall. And honestly,
Mm-hmm.
it's something Wonder Woman as a whole has kind of suffered from because there's not a lot of great Wonder Woman movies in general. Because
Mm-hmm.
even some of the newer Wonder Woman movies, like animation wise, have not been ideal, which I feel is kind of unfortunate because Wonder Woman does have a lot of good stories. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
this one
just
didn't do it for me.
it's just a little basic. Like there was also
Yeah.
another Wonder Woman. There's a New 52 Wonder Woman movie where when I saw the
Yeah.
trailer for it, I'm like, oh, they're just doing that again. That's just the Wonder Woman story again. Like you got Steve Trevor, you got Cheetah, you got like the war going on. Like that's just come on, guys.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It feels like they don't know what to do with Wonder Woman, which is weird because,
Mm-hmm.
like, I feel like there's a
Been
lot you could
around
do
for
with Wonder Woman.
almost 80 years now, and you don't know what to do with her. Like okay.
Right? Right? It's like, I mean, I don't, it feels like they're kind of like, oh, we don't know what to do. We just have her here because you can't have the Justice League without Wonder Woman, which is totally true, but like,
True.
you gotta do something with her. But
Yeah.
not too much else to say. They're so funny. Steve Trevor is actually really funny in this movie.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
other than
I
that,
will.
not too much else to say.
I will say that there's a couple movies on here that I either haven't seen or wanted to rewatch, but couldn't because they're just not on HBO Max anymore. Wonder Woman was one of them where I hadn't seen it in years and I wanted to refresh, but I just couldn't because it's not there and nowhere else has it right now. So, oh well. it's, it's
Disappointing.
yeah, it's definitely not one that I'm going to fight for. Although I think there are others on here that I dislike more, but it's
That's fair.
yeah, it was not going to make it to the final, so might as well kill it now.
First blood. All right,
Yeah.
your move.
My first pick is Injustice. Man, that movie is bad. I have
Oh man.
greatly soured on the whole Injustice concept, period. Like the whole point of Injustice as a concept exists only to have a video game for a fighting game of DC characters when you could just
Yeah.
do that in any universe. You don't need a weird universe where half the characters are evil just to have to use them to fight. Just have them be characters. Just why bother having this evil Superman, Wonder Woman be way out of character? Like, it's just like have Flash die in the first 5 minutes of your movie
Oh God.
to a
Okay.
Joker trap? Are you kidding?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and the reason this movie is a bottom tier for me is because like the Injustice story actually isn't that bad based on like the game and also the comics, but like the movie was they knew they had one movie and didn't have the amount of time to actually flesh it
Right.
out as they needed to, which could have been way better as like a series or at least a couple of movies. So
Yeah.
they really just rushed everything, completely rewrote some stuff, and like you said, killed Flash, who was a major character in the Injustice
Mhm.
story. So they just
Yeah.
kind of kill, and also how you kill Flash is totally BS. Like, I'm
Right?
sorry.
There's one of the most iconic scenes from the comic is a scene where Superman and Flash are debating while playing
Mm-hmm.
chess at light speed against each other. So because they already killed Flash, they had to sub in Mr. Terrific, which is fine. Like it makes sense that he'll be really good at chess, but the point of the scene is that they're like going so fast that like the world around them is like slow, so they're like in their own like basically
Right.
pocket dimension doing this. Like that's a cool visual that they just couldn't do. Not to mention,
That's the
the
thing.
main draw of the Injustice story, as far as the game is concerned, is the fact that they're hopping dimensions. Like there's at least two different. I know at that point it basically just be
Mhm.
a Crisis on Two Earths, which is a way better movie, but still, you only really get that at the very end where they bring in this other Superman to just lose, and then like, oh, I guess
Yeah.
it's it's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it's not really amazing. The pacing's off, but that's because they try to fit all the story into it like an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And it also I don't love the animation. The animation also kind of
No,
feels really
everyone's
gross,
face
but
looks weird. The animation looks very stiff. The the costuming of the games and comics I already didn't love. They just looked even worse in animation. It was just
mhm.
not a great time.
Yeah, just not a great fit. A lot of things. Superman, like I get like evil Superman as a concept is something we like to explore, but like it was just like it's like over the top evil Superman. It's like okay, come on, Superman commits genocide is like not. Come on, like that like
Right?
even if you did lose everything, that's way too far. That doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
Like every element that this movie tried to do, other movies on this list did it better. Like Evil Superman, we got Superman Red Sun, Hopping Dimensions, Crisis on Two Earths, even
Yeah.
like I don't, just other Justice League movies that are better that are here. It's just not it's not even a movie that involves people fighting a Mazo. A better one's on here. Like any
Well,
any
yeah, but
individual
I mean,
little thing about it is just a better and a different movie.
yeah, not to mention the like Superman goes with Ra's al Ghul, like the clearly evil person. It's like, come on, like I get you're going through it, but come on, like oh, he has a point. I could use this out. Really? You think Ra's al Ghul, like the most mustache twirling of like evildoers, literally. And
Uh-huh.
we're like, you know what? I think we have the same goals. Are you kidding me? Like,
Since when?
I don't know. And of
So
course,
yeah,
Wonder Woman being,
yeah, not a good movie. I put it on here just so I could rant about it, but that's as far as it was ever gonna go.
that's totally fair. That's totally fair.
All right,
Oh
your
my
turn.
gosh. Okay. Uh, this is oh man. I know there's a couple that I can take off, but I'm just like I'm thinking long term. Like, where am I gonna go later? Um, I guess Throne of Atlantis. I don't know. Maybe it's a
Yeah,
little early, but yeah. I
no,
mean,
that's right. It's just a pretty
yeah.
basic. It's that
It's
Aquaman
this.
movie.
It's the only Aquaman story ever told, which is just kind of like, oh wow, I'm just a guy. No, you're a fish guy. I'm not a fish guy. You're a fish guy. I'm a fish guy, and then that's it. Like
Aquaman shows up in the Justice League cartoon. Throne of Atlantis shows up in Brave and the Bold. Throne of Atlantis. The movie Throne of Atlantis.
I mean, every time. Look, it's kind of like the Wonder Woman thing. It's like they don't really know what to do with this character other than the origin story, and it's kind of like we can do more than the origin story here. And I mean, Aquaman's never been my favorite Justice League member anyway, and I always feel like it's one of those characters that I know he's an OG, but like I feel personally like you could add Aquaman later and it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But but a lot of everyone's like, oh, he's got to be like, if not in the original team, he's got to be like one of the first editions, and I'm like, eh. But yeah, plus this was still. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
So, no, what were you going to say?
Yeah, no, I mean, and the thing about this, too, is, like, this is still, like, in that time where the new 52 movies didn't know what to do with a lot of their characters, because Superman's still not Superman yet, which is so, like, it was so weird how they did that in this movie, and I don't think any of these other movies are, oh, no, there is another one on here. But, I mean, like, it's so weird how Superman, for, like, the first maybe 4 movies in this series, is just not Superman. He's just a complete jerk, which I get. The New 52 was kind of trying to rebrand Superman at the time, and then realized, people just like regular Superman, and then they kind of fixed him right in time for him to die. But this was still kind of like Superman's. Yeah,
they were trying to make him and Wonder Woman a thing, which just why do that? Why?
Oh,
I don't know.
I mean. It doesn't need, like, it feels like one of those things where, well, we need give Wonder Woman something to do, and we need to mix things up with Superman, so why don't we put them together, which is like
oh, they're work friends, therefore they be married. Like, no.
I mean, what? We're not, like, this isn't The Office, they're not Jim and Pam, like, we don't have to make this a thing, and also, they're making, like, Wonder Woman, like, weirdly, like, I don't want to say submissive, but, like, weirdly, like, over-the-top girly in some parts. And it's kind of like, that doesn't seem like something Wonder Woman would ever say.
Yeah.
Like, she's literally an Amazon. I feel like that's the last thing she would say. But regardless, the movie itself's not that interesting.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not like terrible either. It's just kind of unforgettable. No. Like, just watch the Justice League cartoon 2-parter that has Aquaman. You've seen this movie. That's all you need.
Yeah, and done better, honestly, because Batman's cooler in that movie. So he stands in the corner of the hospital just because it has the shadows. Funny. But no, I mean, just not amazing, but not horrible. But on this list, there's a lot of good stuff, so we gotta slowly break through it.
Yeah, get rid of it. Oh,
yep.
So kind of on that same vein, go ahead and get rid of Justice League War.
I didn't even see that on here. Yeah. Oh, I would have done that first. I feel bad now.
It's also not terrible. As far as like an introduction to this world, it's about as good as you can do, especially since you have the new 52 to work with. Yeah. Like, if you have to adapt the story where Shazam is on the original team and they fight Darkseid in their first battle, I guess that's about as good as you can do. But I hate that Shazam's on the team and they fight Darkseid in the first battle. It sucks so much.
It makes no sense. Like, you don't start with Darkseid. Like, what are you doing? Like,
at least literally Steppenwolf or any of his cronies or I don't know. Like, there are so many other aliens, so many other just on Earth villains that you can bring the team together. Just anything, or I don't just. And they make Darkseid feel like a chump by how easy they end up beating him. Like, it's just weird. So then when he does come back for Apocalypse War, which I didn't even put on this list because I don't like it.
I
It's
mean,
weird that he's
that was
so powerful now. Like I don't get it.
it's not even. I mean, no, it makes no. There's no. It's not even him. It's the freaking Paradooms. Like they
Yeah.
soloed the universe. Like,
Uh,
which, granted, if there was an army of flying doomsdays, yeah, I could see that happening. But still, like that made like the fact that he could even do that doesn't even make sense. Like, how do
yeah.
you just multiply them? And how do they obey you? Why don't they just
Mm,
kill you too? 'Cause I feel like they
yeah. I
probably
don't know.
could have.
Yeah.
But that movie
Yeah.
was way
Like
too dark for my liking. Although
yeah. I didn't even put it on this list. I don't even like thinking about it. It's just yeah.
it's
Doesn't sound good.
so bad. It's so wild. But
Yeah.
anyway, continue.
But yeah, there are a couple of moments I do like in Justice League War. I like Batman and Green Lantern's interactions. Um,
Yeah.
that's about it.
I mean, Flash and Green Lantern have some good ones,
Yeah, yeah.
and then
Flash and Cyborg also have some
oh
fun
yeah,
moments.
I forgot. This is also just like a
Yeah,
weird Cyborg Justice League.
man,
Yeah, I don't
Cyborg
love
and
this
Shazam on
roster.
the original team. That is just not a good combo. Wow, I do not
I
like
just
that.
yeah, I hate
What was
yeah. I don't know why they even went for that because
what did the New
like
52 think they were cooking with that? It is.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, like Cyborg is a Teen Titan to me, not a member of the Justice League. First of all, and I know like I guess it depends, but like not really. And then yeah, Shazam, like yeah, it feels like one of those characters that definitely can be added later. He feels
Oh
extremely
yeah.
redundant with the original team, especially with Superman and Wonder Woman kind of already around. He kind of just feels
Hmm.
like extra muscle, which kind of isn't really
Yeah,
needed.
and I know it wasn't really a thing, but like in a world where Flash can also do some lightning abilities, Shazam is not that he's not needed, but on the original team, they're yeah, completely redundant. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, it's not needed, like in a nice way, but I mean,
Mm. Yeah, like there are so
plus, I
many
mean,
other Justice Leaguers I'd rather be on the original
yes,
team, like Zatanna, Zatara, Black Canary, uh,
Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter, obviously Hawk, one of the Hawks. Just so many people I'd rather be on the original team than Shazam. Like
Oh,
Cyborg,
very.
sure, with the whole like his connection to the mother boxes and stuff. I guess you could upgrade him, like whatever. I've more or less made
But
peace with that. But
still,
Shazam being on the original team is just not. I don't like that.
yeah, I don't love that. It's kind of just, yeah, I don't know, but it is what it is.
Mm, okay, your turn.
All right, my pick.
Hmm.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go Superman, Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not bad, but like, it's kind of forgettable. I don't love a lot of the choices they made villain wise, and it just I don't know, it doesn't stick out to me.
yeah. I think it's a pretty solid introduction into a new universe. Like it's clearly clearly doing its own thing, its own art style, like completely different from the New 52. Granted, I think overall like the New 52's art style a little better, but it's so different. It's kind of hard to compare them. Um, I liked Parasite being the main villain. That's something I kind of hope the movies do at some point because he's one of those like classic villains that doesn't really get a lot of
Yes,
play in modern media. Um,
agreed.
yeah, I like him. I like how he started the trend of I don't know if he started it, but like he at least continued the trend of Parasite turning into a giant kaiju at the end. It just I don't know, it just feels right.
And
uh,
it makes him feel
oh,
like more of a Superman level threat.
yeah, exactly. Obviously, Luthor is great in that movie. Um, Even the stuff with Martian is also good. I like movies like that where if you are expanding, you are starting this universe, but you still want to kind of expand it in more subtle ways. Having someone like Martian Manhunter in it, who should be you make sense along with Superman. They kind of they basically share a backstory, just taken slightly different ways.
Yeah,
Uh, and he's got to stick around for future stuff. It makes sense to go ahead and incorporate him now. So I like that, but Yeah, Superman fighting Lobo is a pretty cool sequence, but overall, yeah, it's I'm not gonna fight it being next.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's like it feels. I get that they're doing the Superman origin, and it's not a bad origin, but I guess it kind of just like I don't know. I feel I don't want to say overdone, but like kind of.
Eh,
I don't know. Maybe that's just a personal thought, but
yeah, like I said,
all right,
not a
you gonna
terrible
move?
start to this universe, but not. Yeah, it's fine. Um,
It's fine. It's okay.
yeah, I'm gonna go Green Lantern First Light just because I haven't seen it.
Ooh. I will say this is the
Mm,
best. In my opinion, this is the best Green Lantern centered thing
mm,
outside of comic book that exists
okay.
because
Like I know
it's done
there
real
were
well.
actually a
It's fair.
couple of Green Lantern animated ones, like Emerald Knight was on there
Yeah,
that I also hadn't seen.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but
Emerald Knight is not, in my opinion, is not as herald as this one, just because Emerald Knight's kind of almost like a what's the kind of like Batman Gotham Knight, where it's like it's not like different animation, but it's like a bunch of small stories kind of put together,
oh, okay.
and it kind of makes one movie. It's not bad, but it's not really centered around one. It's like different stories of other Green
Mm,
Lanterns and how they got their powers and stuff, which is pretty good. But anyway,
okay.
but Green Lantern First Flight, it's a Hal Jordan origin movie, and it's actually pretty good because it only focuses on the Green Lantern Corps, and I think that's
Mm,
something that doesn't happen a lot these days. And Sinestro is played excellently. There's some
mm,
pretty decent twists. Um, it's also a little more violent than you would expect for that's kind of for like an
mm,
animated movie back in the day, but you know
okay.
it's really good. And I showed it to my brother, and it made him finally put some respect on Green Lantern's name, which is good.
Yeah, like I want to see it at some
But
point. I just couldn't because it wasn't anywhere for me to see. Um,
that's fair.
but, but yeah, like I have no doubt that it is good. I just haven't seen it, and there are others on here I
Yeah, no,
like a lot more. So
that's
yeah.
totally fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, I do recommend seeing it though for anyone who hasn't.
Mm,
It's just gonna jump anytime I do that. Huh? Okay, that's
yeah.
okay. Okay.
Okay.
Oh man. Oh boy. Okay. Oh gosh.
Already getting a little
I want to
hard.
just. I know. I don't want to just pick off the ones I haven't seen because I feel like that's not fair. But at the same time, I don't know what else to pick because I don't have
Mm.
good arguments to. Thoughts on Superman Red Sun?
I really like Red Sun. I think
Okay.
it's it's a it's not really an evil Superman story, but like what's the best way
More
to
of a
put
what
it?
if than an evil.
Yeah, yeah. Like it just feels like a very natural, like it feels very natural within the world that the movie set out for Superman to act this way, and like I think the animation is very good. Like it's even though it was still like it was made during the time period of the New 52 movies, it still had its own unique art style. Um, I just feel like it told that story very well. I really really like specifically when the part where Luthor creates like I believe they call
Oh,
him Ultraman or like the
I
what do they
think so.
call him?
Yeah.
Like his Superman clone that basically that the crest shaped like
Yeah.
Ultraman, and then they're fighting him. He like as they're fighting, he slowly deteriorates into Bizarro. That's such a good visual.
That was that was really
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, there's a rumor that something similar to that might happen in James Gunn's movie, and like if that happens, I'm here for it. um,
Bizarre.
yeah, yeah, I
It's really good.
it is a little contrived how Batman is incorporated in this movie. Like Superman is kind of indirectly responsible for his parents dying, and like because as a kid he saw Superman once not help his parents who were already dead when he got there. Batman then has to Batman, and then 20 years later still becomes Batman, but he
Like specifically,
yeah, like he's still
he's like Comrade Batman, but like
yeah, and he's a little more violent,
a lot more
but
violent.
yeah, it's that's a
Couple,
little
yeah.
it's a little clunky, but like it's comics. I don't really question it. It's still a cool sequence, but
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely a comic thing. And then,
yeah.
also,
Um,
how does the U.S. Air Force get an army of Green Lanterns? Like, I
I thought
get
it
you
was
can
fun.
explain like what four tops, but like the rest you cannot explain. Like, how do you have like
Yeah,
a platoon of Green Lanterns just to get
mm,
dogged? By the way, but I mean,
yeah,
like it was a cool scene, kind of, but it was like, all right, how do you have like I get
yeah.
like John and Hal and sure Kyle and Guy, but like how do you have
They
all these
reverse
other nameless
engineered the
people?
ring somehow.
You can't do that. Like I mean the U okay, let me rephrase the US government can't do that. Maybe like Brainiac can do that. Like there's no way
Yeah.
like I mean this is like I don't know, but
Hmm.
I mean, it was a cool scene. I don't know. I'm splitting
Yeah.
hairs, but I don't know.
Yeah. And I really liked Wonder Woman in that movie where, like, it
Mhm.
makes sense that, her first time leaving the island, it would kind of make sense where, like, the first ideology that she, is introduced to will be the one that she kind of connects with. Like, I just feel like that makes sense. That being Superman's, and then but by the end she does kind of come around to going against him. Like I feel like her progression of the character was also really cool.
And
Um,
I feel like it's kind of a mirror of Superman because he was kind of the same way originally until he realized no, this is wrong, and
mm,
kind of in his own way change things only to kind of do the same thing, but
yeah,
slightly
exactly.
better maybe.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't like be against you getting rid of it now. I do think it's good. I think it
Like it's
should go
better.
further, but it's not. I don't not enough to save it.
Yeah, it's not gonna. Yeah, I
But
mean it's one of those where it's in the middle, so it's not
mm,
going to be in the finals per se, but it's not
yeah,
probably earlier than it should have been. But I guess I personally just didn't love it just because I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of the like what if DC stories a lot of the time. I know it's
okay,
comics,
that's
so it's
fair.
all what if, but like the like Elseworlds or the
Hmm.
like in this version. Superman's evil. Superman grew up in this country, or
Mm,
in this version, Batman's I don't know, like ancient,
yeah.
old London Batman or whatever. It's just like, I
Mm,
mean, it's fine, but
yeah,
it's not
I
never
haven't.
my
Yeah, I haven't
favorite.
seen the Gotham by Gaslight. Yeah, yeah, Gotham by Gaslight one. I've heard not great things about it. It's kind of similar to that, where it's what if Batman was, in the same time period as Jack the
Yeah,
Ripper? Like, okay, that's something, I
basically,
guess.
yeah. I mean, I mean, that movie specifically is, I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's not one of my favorites. And there's also a twist that some people hate. I personally don't hate it because I didn't see it coming at all.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's still kind of like, is a
Yeah,
twist good just because you don't see it coming, even though it doesn't make sense,
no.
right? So it's kind of that. But
uh, um, so yeah, I definitely recommend watching it if people haven't seen it. But it's
oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's about right. It can go now. Um,
Okay.
this might be this might be very controversial, but I
Uh-oh.
personally don't love the All Star Superman movie.
Oh,
I don't know.
oh,
Just something about it just didn't click with me. I can't really explain it. It just, I don't know. I feel like, first of all, the art design isn't my favorite. I prefer other art directions of other movies a little better. Um, the action sequences, from what I remember, just weren't as good as I was hoping. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It
I
just
just
doesn't sit
don't,
well.
just
No, that's
didn't
fair.
click with me.
And that's fair. I think you made two very valid points. Because one, I think, yeah, the art design is based on how it's drawn. So, like, it's one of those you either like it or you don't, which
Mm,
is kind of like, and that's fair. And I think the action thing is totally true because there really isn't a lot of action in this movie.
mm,
It's a very, like, it's more of a Superman doing feats more than Superman actually, like, fighting. I mean, there's a
mm,
couple fight scenes, but for the most part, it's kind of just basically it's Superman being too powerful, so most fight scenes aren't really fight scenes.
right.
But
And I get that's the point of the story,
right.
but I don't know. I just didn't. I really like how they. I don't know. I feel like the comic just did it a little better. Also, the movie didn't have the scene where he's talking that one person off
Mm-hmm.
off the ledge. Like I feel like that's a pretty important scene to just leave out of your
Oh, it's
adaptation.
huge.
But yeah, um,
No, I agree.
yeah,
I really like how they do Lex in this movie. I
yeah,
really enjoy, like, I think he just like it's one of those, like, there's the things I love about Lex Luthor is that, like, he is just absolutely just hates Superman. Superman can save the world, and Lex is
mm,
like, you know what? You still suck. Like,
yeah,
like, it just does not matter at this point. He's like, I am an all-time hater. I will forever be a hater of Superman. And also, he's like, but also he's smart about it. And I just like
mm,
he's smart. And he's like smart. He's just a straight up goon. He's a villain. Like, he's just a
yeah.
villain to the core. It's not one of these misunderstood. It's like, no, I'm going on death row, and you know what? I totally deserve it. But guess what? I'm smart enough to get out of it anyway.
uh,
Like, I don't know. Something about that scene is just so, like, it's so satisfying because it's not like he's like, no, I misunderstood. No, he's like, no, I did it.
no, I did that.
He's like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. He's like, no, you know what? That's right. I mean, even the part where he's like actively, like, plotting to destroy the world, and then he just looks at it like, what are you doing? He's like, you know what? I realized something today. I'm getting older, and it's just like he just doesn't care. You're not serving your country, bro. I am past this. Like, he does not care about anything. And then when he finally does get the powers, he's an absolute goon about it. He's just like, all right,
yeah.
cool. I'm taking over the planet. I'm moving to the White House later. Um, yeah, I'll let y'all know how this is about to go, but we're running things differently.
Mm,
And then
yeah.
instantly loses it. And he's like, I could have saved the world. I was like, bro, don't act like you were just about to just go take over the planet. Like, we saw
Yeah,
you, my guy.
yeah,
But
like
no,
yeah.
he's done really well.
I don't think it's a bad movie. Just
Now,
I had to go at some point. I don't think it would be make the top five. Like, it could have, but I just don't. I don't think it would have, especially if you're not saving it now.
now,
So I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to go ahead and get that. Although I did, I just in the conversation, I did realize that I somehow left Superman versus the Elite off of here. Um,
ooh,
I really like that movie. Also, I also don't know if it would have gone that far, but like that's also a very
I would
solid movie.
have.
That
If you pick Superman versus the Elite at this point, I probably would have saved it. That is real.
okay, yeah,
That's probably a top three Superman movie for me for sure. So
that's
that's
fair. Yeah,
a
I
really
don't
good
know
movie.
how. I thought it was on here. I guess when reorganizing things to
I
make
think,
it, I just left it off.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
you had to leave room for injustice. Yeah.
oh yeah, totally.
No, that's
Oh well,
no.
but
I
yeah,
mean, like, there's
yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's also just a very good movie. I'm upset that I left it off. Like, I think just the themes of it are very good. Like the little group that Manchester Black puts together, it's very cool.
mhm.
The ending is just really good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I will say that I do like the movie a lot. Although Going back and watching it now as an adult, I hate to say this, especially in front of my Superman poster right in front of me. I do not agree with Superman in this movie at all. I don't, because
yeah,
I agree with Superman as a concept and a goal to strive to an ideal, but on a case-to-case basis, Superman's wrong. Because, I mean, in the start of this movie, Atomic Skull breaks out, just starts killing aimlessly, just going for it. Superman comes in, saves the day, yada, yada, yada. Not, a week later, this man breaks out again and is doesn't even stop to check his phone. Immediately, right back on the street, doing the exact same stuff again. I'm like, bro, Superman. Yeah. There is no fixing this. That is not he didn't even check the weather. He didn't check the mail. He wasn't like, hey, what I miss? He said, oh, back to killing. And immediately just starts re-slaughtering. And I'm like, nah, Superman, you gotta end that. You can't I get there's ideals of we want to build things and create a society where there is hope that everyone can change, but everyone is not going to change. That's just not going to happen. Atomic Skull at no point is ever going to be redeemable.
There's a couple of times that DC animated movies specifically do that kind of messaging. One we'll talk about later, Superman Doomsday. It's oh, we put away Toyman. He breaks out, immediately kills a child.
Oh, no.
And then they're supposed to be oh no, it's bad that the other Superman killed him. No. Are you kidding me?
I mean, he probably shouldn't have dropped him from basically the height of a skyscraper.
Probably not.
But but then again, you can't be he didn't deserve to die at that point. You need to kill him for that. Especially Toyman's smart enough to break out of prison and do it again. That's the thing too. It's it's not just the killing, it's because no prison can hold these types of villains. As we saw, Atomic Skull broke out very easily. Toyman obviously is smart enough to get out. Luthor is smart. You know what I mean? Certain people are just not prison unless it's the Phantom Zone. Most people, prison is not a place to hold.
Yeah, but then even Batman gets mad at Superman in the Justice League Unlimited for putting Doomsday in the Phantom Zone. It's what do you want, Batman? You can't rehabilitate Doomsday.
That's what I'm saying.
What are you doing?
There's a lot of times where I'm just kind of also talking about Justice League, but this is This is the first time when Darkseid comes back the first time, and he's kind of hey, I need your help to save my planet from Brainiac. And then Superman's you know what? Bump them kids and just y'all figure it out on your own. And then Batman's no, we gotta help. I'm no, we don't. First of all, if Darkseid can't beat him, what makes him think we can? First of all. Second of all, I mean, I'm not exactly
my number one worst enemy is being invaded by my second worst enemy, and you're me to care.
Literally, let me help my number. Yeah, I'm let me help nurse my enemy back to full health so he can go back to killing me. What are we doing? Come on. And this is fresh off of an Earth invasion a couple years ago that easily could have gone worse. I'm bro, we are not helping this man. The fact that we're not helping and jumping him with Brainiac is enough right there. I mean, that's crazy. I don't know. Yeah, it's what I understand that at their core, their comic books, they're all based on ideals, and it's the idea you don't want to implant the idea with hey, sometimes killing's okay to children, but at the same time, it's in a real situation this dire, at minimum, saying you're on your own is not a bad thing at all, and that's
I kind of agree with Batman when he's I don't have to save you. I'm not.
That's right.
If you die, you die.
Well, that's the thing. Or when Batman's out here trying to save the Joker after he just murdered an entire everything. I'm like, why are we ever saving this man? Like, I get it, you don't end his life, but you don't have to save him. That's doing the most. That's
I do really like it
enabling.
in The World's Finest when like he grabs Harley and they jump out of that blimp, the blimp explodes. It's like he doesn't even really care that Joker died there because he either knows he'll come back or just like if he he's done whatever. But like
That's my thing. I'm like, at that point, he's already like, yeah, no. At this point, that joke's hilarious. But I mean, like, no. I mean, my thing about it is like he got eaten by a shark. He got, I mean, what else happened? He got a couple times in the animated series and just came back mysteriously.
I mean,
so it's like,
Mask of the Phantasm, he also blew up.
right,
Everybody's presumed dead.
Right. We're not going to talk about that. Like, I mean, he blew up, got eaten by a shark. Something else happened. I forget. But, I mean, he's been killed a couple times and just came back unscathed. Not to mention in Just League Unlimited, got his completely mind wiped or whatever by Ace. So, like, all this crazy stuff happened to him. And then he finally actually dies. And then somehow, again, comes back through BS technology, but whatever. But we'll talk about that later, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, much later. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So, yeah, Superman Elite should be on here, but I just missed it. We're talking about All-Star and then Elite, but yeah.
Okay. Got it. Sorry, I got it. Oh, man. Okay. All right, my turn.
Your turn.
Oh, gosh. Okay. So, I don't love Justice League Gods and Monsters.
That's fair.
I don't hate it, but it doesn't really feel like a Justice League movie at all. Like, I know it's supposed to be like an Elseworld, alternate versions, what if, but like, it just kind of feels like a different movie entirely. It doesn't feel like it's in the same universe. The characters, for the most part, aren't even the same characters. Like, it's not Diana. It's some, like, apocalyptic person.
Yeah.
It's not, like, Kirk Langstrom as, like, a more controlled vampire man-bat kind of.
Which
and
is
then
an
Superman.
Concept.
It's not a bad concept. Yeah, Zod's son being Superman. Yeah. It's like somehow Zod was able to put his genetic material and overwrite Jor-El's, which makes no sense, but it's a kids movie, so they can't, But I mean, but it's also like, I mean, the ideas aren't bad ideas. They're just kind of like, it's so different. It doesn't feel like it's a Justice League movie anymore.
Yeah,
I guess if that makes sense. So, and it kind of just throws it off.
That's another one of those that I wanted to rewatch before doing this, but it wasn't anywhere when I looked for it. But yeah, like what I remember, I didn't dislike it, but it definitely didn't have the same vibes as most of the other, DC movies. I know it was doing its own thing, so it being its own thing shouldn't be a criticism, but like it's still called Justice League something, and it's
right.
This also might be just a weird little nitpick, but I also don't love when a movie is called Justice League something and it's just the main three. Like I don't really know what you should call that, but like I don't know, just like DC's Trinity something. But then again, it's not even the Trinity, so you can't really call it that either. I don't know.
I mean, that's right. Well, it's like, I mean, because they have comics like Trinity comics where it's like, just Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. So I mean, I agree they should do that more, but also, I mean, it kind of just, I mean, you kind of have to put Justice League or DC or something on there so we know it's not just entirely its own thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, I don't know. The movie was dark in a good way, but it was kind of one of those things where it was kind of like, it also felt like a lot of stuff they were doing just to be over the top dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole Harley Quinn scene seemed like a whole like doing the most. I was like, okay, I'm like really the whole. So Harley Quinn in this universe, like somehow, like she like stole a bunch of like people, and she basically doll makered them and like made them like ornaments. and they were like the like nuclear family or whatever, like a grandma, parents, children. Like it was like super over the top dark.
Mm.
And then like she uses a chainsaw while trying to fight Batman and like cuts him up and stuff. And then Batman just like vampires her, which is wild.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like it's a good one time watch, but I don't think I would ever watch this movie again.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Okay. Um. Yeah, I think it's time for Batman Hush.
Yeah, that's fine.
I I like it. I actually like the twist. It's one of those things where I personally don't. So let me put it like this: why bother watching this movie if you already know exactly how it's going to end? If you complain about any deviations, then you're not going to be surprised, or like you're not going to gain anything from watching this movie if it's exactly how you expect it will shake out. So then doing a fake out, I feel, was a pretty solid way to do it. I don't love how it was actually the Riddler. I thought that was a weird choice. But like as far as like the fake out itself, I thought was a pretty solid way of doing that. Especially just like with how that fake out scene also incorporated the Joker with, like, I thought that was just a very, especially since that was the first time Joker was even in this universe.
Mm-hmm.
I thought just the couple of minutes he was on screen was very, very solid.
Oh, Joker was excellent in this movie. So I
Oh
think that's
yeah,
the only movie he's in,
yes,
like in
he
that
maybe
universe,
was
right?
very briefly in Apocalypse War, but whatever.
I don't
Maybe
think so.
I don't remember exactly. Um, but yeah, just like that. Even though he was only in it for half a minute, it was still enough for to almost push Batman to to want to kill him. So
Right.
like
Yeah. I
I
mean,
thought that was very strong.
yeah. I
The
mean,
whole Poison Ivy turning Superman, mind controlling him thing was a solid scene. Um, I like how they incorporated Clayface. How like he wasn't in it a lot, but there's a couple of times when like something weird happened. It's like, oh, I like, was that actually Clayface, or was that I thought that's kind of the thing I even like in however many years ago when I pitched a Batman movie, that was like part of it. Where yes, Hush is there, but like Clayface is also kind of helping with the deception. I think that just makes sense.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah. I feel like Clayface as a character is just underutilized a lot.
oh yeah,
Just like he could be in a lot more stories if like to help out. And I would
yeah.
like that Batman's still able to kind of tell when it's him or not a lot of the
Mm.
time.
Um, but yeah, but I understand why people don't love that the Riddler is the villain. Like I said, I think it being different isn't necessarily bad. I just think a Jack Riddler isn't really what you want at the end of this. It just, I don't know. It's just not
Yeah.
really the direction I would have taken
And
it.
also, yeah, and also it's just kind of like I know these move. I mean, the movie. I know there's a lot of Batman movies in this universe, but they kind of don't seem to really work off each other in a lot of ways. And this one kind of just came completely out of left field. It feels like because
Yeah.
pretty much every part of this movie is kind of the first time we're doing most of it. I mean, like
Mm.
the parts that we've had established, like with Nightwing and Batwoman and Jamie and all that kind of stuff is kind of sidelined for the most part.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just it's kind of like the same Batman, but like just kind of all new characters and everything. Because like Catwoman, who clearly they have like a serious history, has like never been seen before, and we're just supposed to be like, I mean, and
Yeah.
again, it is Catwoman, that's fine, but it's kind of like, all right, like we could, I feel like she could have been
Hmm.
in some earlier movies, at least a little bit. Like you could have at least like,
Yeah. Yeah. This is the first time we're seeing Catwoman. The first time we're seeing Harley Quinn interact with other Batman people. Like, so the first time
yeah,
Joker was it? We've had four Batman movies. Am I counting right?
yeah. Okay, so it's what Son of Batman, there's Batman versus Robin. There's the it's like Bad Blood, I think.
which is terrible. And then
Well,
Hush. It might just be
I
that,
think
but still,
Hush is
that's
the next one.
and then Just Like Dark
But
is basically a
still,
Batman movie.
yeah, it's true. But I mean, that one it makes sense that I have
Yeah.
other Batman characters, really. But I mean, yeah, no, it's weird because like, yeah, they kind of just go for a new thing, and then Batman's whole rogues gallery. And, like, it's fine, but it's like
Mhm.
there are times. Also, it's like it's odd how like, yeah, we like it's okay if we do a Riddler fake out, but it's like, oh, but like let's introduce like it almost made less sense to do like it made more sense to just do the original thing than do the fake out because it's like the Riddler thing. Didn't they like I don't know, was it maybe I'm thinking wasn't Riddler like already like a decoy earlier in the movie?
Yeah, he was.
So like I mean, why even do that if you're just gonna like I don't know, that felt I mean, I guess it's like a oh, it's an alibi, but it's kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like it's one of those. It's kind of like the whole like. It's like if you're gonna do a new character, just do a new character because like it didn't have to really be Hush if you're not gonna make it Thomas Elliot. It's kind of like it's like the opposite of the whole like Arkham Knight thing. Where it's like, oh, it's not Jason Todd, JK. But like here, it's like, oh, it's totally not Thomas Elliot, but it's actually not, which is fine if you like don't set it like I don't know. It's hard to explain because it's like the Arkham Knight thing annoys you because it's like the whole time you're like it's Jason Todd. The game's like, no, it's not Jason Todd. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Okay, you're right. It is. But then, like here, it's like, okay, it's Thomas Elliot. Like we know it's like, yes, I saw Thomas Elliott's dead body, but I also saw Riddler's dead body, so now I don't know who it is.
Right?
Oh, it's actually Riddler the whole time. It's like, wait, then why couldn't it just been Thomas Elliot the whole time? That makes more sense.
They even could have done a cool fake out where, like you see Thomas Elliott's dead body. With seemingly look like a Joker killed him, but actually that dead body was actually Clayface, and like that was the fake out where like you think like you trick the audience into thinking we're not doing that, but we actually are doing that. Like he that he could have done something like that, but instead they just
I don't know. I mean,
kept that straight.
It's not
Riddler instead.
Yeah, it's not that big. Also, again, like we talked about earlier, Batman literally risking his life to save Riddler / Hush at the end, which is kind of like, bro, I know you're Batman, but like, dude, like, what are we doing? Like, why are we? I mean, like, if Batman actually, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he killed a lot of people. Not to mention, almost killed you like 4 times in this movie. Actually killed Thomas Elliot, which you were ready to like. So you're ready to kill Joker on the spot for killing Thomas Elliot. But then when you find out he was a fake and Riddler actually did it, you're ready to save Riddler's life?
Yes.
Including the other people he killed, manipulated, almost got you killed via brainwashing Superman, who probably killed other people while trying to get you. You just probably didn't realize. Not to mention almost killing you and Catwoman. And in that movie, Nightwing almost dies because he always gets his butt kicked in these movies.
Every single
it's so disrespectful. The only movie he did okay in was like the Judas Contract, but even then it was like, no, wait, let me still get beat up first.
Yeah, he
just redeemed
lost
himself.
his fight against Deathstroke.
I mean, you can give the Deathstroke fight a pass because that was completely caught off guard, and Deathstroke's like full ready to go. This man's got a kitchen knife in his hand, so I mean that's a little bit more there. But I mean, like, I don't know. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, Batman's logic makes no sense there. Like, I understand if he was consistent about it, it's one thing. But the fact that you were ready to kill Joker on the spot, but now after the fact, you realize the worst things that Riddler has done, including what you thought Joker did, not to mention all the other stuff he's done added onto that, and you're like, no, I can save him. Like, no. But I don't know. Batman logic is fine.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I like it more than most people seem to like it, but I definitely do see the issues with it. But it's fun, but it's definitely definitely by far the best of the New 52 Batman movies. Not that there's any competition there.
Not really.
But yeah, still, time to go. Okay, your turn.
Not bad. Okay. Oh man, it's gonna take forever. Oh my gosh. Um, I know you said this movie is delightful, but I've never seen the Batman Cape Crusader one. Is it worth?
That's
Is
fine.
it that good, or is it okay?
I mean, it's what you would imagine like a 80-minute Adam West animated movie would be. Like it is
Hmm.
basically has like a lot of you know 60s show references. Um, they got him and Burt Ward to come back to play them. There was also a sequel that was Batman versus Two Face with Two Face played by William Shatner. Um,
Oh,
I never saw that one, but it was I imagined it was also pretty solid. Um, but yeah, like this, yeah, it's just a very very fun movie. I'm glad that while Adam West was still around, they were able to make it. So yeah,
anything more? That's kind of just it.
that's. I mean, I recommend you watch it at some point. If you're a fan
Yeah.
at all of the Adam West show, or you even know of it, like I think you would enjoy it
Okay. Yeah, I might check
if
it
you can
out.
find it somewhere.
Wait, you said is it? Oh, it's not on Max anymore.
Probably not. I didn't check that one specifically, but I doubt it.
Probably not. Oh my god, we'll have to see. I'll follow up
I think I
after
actually have
this.
the DVD of that one. I think that's like one of the last
Oh,
DVDs I ever bought. Think about it. Um,
that's fair.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay.
Is I know, right?
Um, I'm gonna take a stab, possibly just to play the game and make you use one of your saves, maybe if you feel like using
Oh
it.
no.
What do you feel about going ahead and getting rid of Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo?
Oh, sir, the nostalgia. Ah, but I love it. It's
Uh-huh.
ah.
Yeah, gotta play the game.
I mean, see, now you're just being mean. Okay, so I feel like I want to use my save, but at the same time, I know you're just gonna make me use another one later next turn.
No, no. This is just to kind of
I mean,
just
no, I mean you're
buy
right. We
time
got to
as I
start getting.
like.
No,
Yeah.
you're right. We can't be here all night. Okay,
If
so
you want to use it, then please do. But
no, no. I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, it's one of those things. I also know we're getting there. Like, I don't want to use it yet, but like, I also know we're getting there
keep in
because
mind,
I love the
historically, we
movie.
never use all of our saves. So if you don't use
That's
it
what
now,
I'm
you
saying.
probably
That
won't.
is also true. That is true. Yeah, I'll use it. I can't. I
Okay.
love this movie too.
Yeah.
Do we talk about it now, or do we wait till we actually get rid of
I'll
it and
talk about
talk
it now.
about it?
Absolutely.
Okay, but no, I. So this movie is great to me because first of all, whenever I think of this
Yeah.
movie, I think of summertime on Cartoon Network because it was
Mm.
always on. Because they always had movies on in the summer because they didn't nobody was in
Yep.
school and the kids were home all day. And I love this movie. First of all, the show is amazing. We all know that.
Oh
We don't
yeah.
have to need help. But I mean, the movie is great because it just feels like a long episode of the show, but with just a
Hmm.
little bit higher stakes, which is exactly what you want in this kind of movie. The
Yeah.
action's right on par. It's great. Every character feels very in character. I love how it's mostly Robin centered, which, in my opinion, is my favorite character, obviously. But at the same
Yeah.
time, there's still good moments for everyone, and it's also just like it's done well. They get it's a good excuse to like go to a new location. They figure things out. There's a
Hmm.
mystery to it. That's kind of a mystery, but you kind of think you get it, but you kind of don't. There's and of course, like everyone talks about, like, oh, like with the Twilight series, like, oh, Bella and Jacob and all. It's like I like Robin and Starboy, that was like growing up. That was like the like will they, won't they of the
Yeah.
century, of course, as a kid. But
Mm.
you know, and it's just I don't know. It's really good, and I love the like Robin on the run part. It's just my favorite
Yes.
part. It's so epic.
I love the visual of him beating the crap out of that basically like clone of him that's made of paint, and like
Yeah,
beating the crap out of him because like the whatever that guy's name was, it wasn't like a red, but it was like a kind of like dark pink. It looked like
yeah.
blood,
The like
and just
paint
that's
looks
such a
like
good visual.
so cool. Like they know they're like it's a kid's show, but like is it though? Like like
Uh,
it's just like very well done. He gets arrested. It's like a whole thing. And then it's like, he's got to go he's got to go underground, like from the underworld. He's like,
yeah,
where is, it's just so cool how
yeah,
it's, and the police chase is dope.
mhm.
And
Like
like, we had to be surrounded.
some of the best moments from the show are when Robin is able to just let loose into somebody.
Yes,
Whether that be
absolutely.
himself in that one episode or or just whoever. But yeah, like that was just that fight is just probably the best in that movie. And then
Yeah,
each of them having their own individual paint villain was fun. Um,
it's pretty cool. But they were still
yeah.
unique. They were still interesting.
Oh
And
yeah.
like, yeah, like it was a cool concept. And like, yeah, it's just cool. I mean, it's just a good movie. It's like it keeps you suspense. There's plenty of action. It's a lot of fun. I mean,
Hmm.
there's not much else to say. It's a really good movie based on a
Yeah.
really good show. I've seen it a million times. I can probably quote half of it, but it's just
Oh yeah.
it is probably like growing up. This was probably a movie. I've seen this probably top five the most times out of all these movies on here. Probably
It might be the one I've seen the most times.
right.
Yeah,
Like
like
really. Well,
at least
it's
like
not.
a solid like chunk of it. Probably seen
Mhm.
I've seen more minutes of this movie than any other movie on here. Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
fair. Yeah.
yeah. I was about to say, I think that's probably top three. I know which one my one is. It's not this one, but it's another
Mhm.
one that we'll talk about. But
Yeah.
it's
Um,
oh man,
okay. But yeah, after my next pick, you can make it white again.
got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Oh,
Yep.
crap, it's my turn again. Oh
Yep.
gosh. Okay. All right. Next pick. Hmm. Oh.
I mean, there's others on here you
Justice
haven't
League
seen.
Dark? I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah. Dark was my next one also, so that's good.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Again, not a bad movie by any means, but we're
No.
kind of just getting to that point where being okay is not good enough.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more okay New 52 movies. Like top half. No, again, not that there's much competition, but like
Yeah.
it's solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's weird that it's
I
more of
like
a Batman movie than anyone else, but whatever. Like,
no. I like the idea of just Justice League Dark as a whole, like kind of having kind of a Magic's division of the Justice League that
oh yeah,
also includes Batman, because why not? But
yeah.
like, yeah, it feels good. I love Constantine. I do like Constantine. This
Oh
universe is
yeah.
great. Like,
Constantine,
I think
Zatanna,
it's
Swamp Thing was Etrigan. Was he there?
Etrigan, Deadman. Like it was like all the
Mm,
Magic people. It was
Dead
like,
Man. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing's delightful as always.
Mm,
I like Etrigan. Like Etrigan's one of those
yeah.
characters I just love for no reason. Like
Hmm.
he makes no sense. It's kind of weird, but it's just like every time Etrigan's around, it's just funny. Like I think half the reason is just that I like that he runs. Honestly, like, it's
Yeah.
probably the only reason I
He
like him.
he's one of those. He's one of those characters that I was first introduced to in Brave and the Bold, and I just really liked him
Mm,
in that. And like, I haven't read any of his comics. I don't know him I don't know him outside of the episodes or movies of things that I've seen him in. But the things I've seen him in, I like him in, so it's good.
Yep. That's real. Yeah, I think I saw that same Brave and the Bold episode. That's how I got introduced to him. Also, I'm pretty sure I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, he's been yeah. No, I like it a lot. I will say, Felix Faust and everything. The twist is pretty interesting. Well, it's kind of a twist, but not really. But I mean, you kind of can see it coming just because it's the only character it probably could have been. But yeah, not bad. Just solid. Yeah, it's just okay.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along.
And I should have said this up front, but if at any point, to the viewers, if at any point we talk bad about one of your favorite movies, I'm sorry.
Yeah, tell us in the comments why we're wrong.
Yeah, there's there's a lot of movies here. We like almost all of them quite a bit. If Injustice is your favorite movie on here, get help. But watch more movies. I'm kidding.
On the list we have, you'll find better stuff.
You can do a lot better.
Yeah, it's gonna be impossible.
But if we have, comment down below. I want to know.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah. Okay. I think I have to go Superman Doomsday. If for no other reason that I think the death of Superman does that storyline better.
Agreed.
So yeah, Superman Doomsday.
Yeah, that's a fair pick. I like this movie, but yeah, the other one does it better. And the other thing about this movie is I don't know. I'm not sure what the word. Somehow it's kind of slow.
Yeah,
which makes no sense because Superman dies in it. But the initial fight is gas. It's crazy. Yes. And then there's kind of just not a lot going on. Then he drops Toy Man. Then it gets kind of crazy. And then they have the final beatdown, which is pretty good. But man, I will say the first Doomsday fight is amazing in this. It's one of the first times I ever saw Superman actually do more than punch. In a fight, because so often he'll just kind of punch, get punched, punch, get punched, and instead here he's punching, actually. There's one part where he throws Doomsday by his jaw and yeets him into the stratosphere. It's it's very just smart fighting, and it's just entertaining. You really you feel every punch.
Oh yeah,
this, you should in this kind of fight. But it's kind of...
Fun fact about this movie, I believe this is the first instance of me seeing blood in a cartoon.
Oh, ever?
I'm pretty sure, because it came out in 2007, and that's around the time that we got satellite television in our home. So I was just scrolling the channels, and I popped on Cartoon Network, and this movie was playing, and they were at the part where the fight is winding down, so they're both just covered in blood. I was oh dear. It's
okay.
It's either that or Justice League New Frontier. Both actually the same exact kind of thing happened with both of those. Where I remember again. I guess it was the year right after, where I was just flipping through the channels, and I popped on Cartoon Network, and it was the scene where Hal Jordan and that one Korean guy, I think, were pinned down, and he shot him. Where you saw it was a silhouette, but still you saw blood shoot out. Oh dear, that was in my head for a while.
Oh dear, oh great heavens. No, that's fair. That's fair. Because Yeah, it's so interesting when you like go back and you look at things and you're like, oh man, like when did I first like and like honestly, like these are the movies, especially as a kid, like you watch these all the time. These are like especially the older ones, like these are some of the first like
Hmm.
non like Disney rated G movies I ever saw.
Oh
So
yeah.
like I remember the first time we rented like Return of the Joker from like when we were at my grandma's house. Like it was like that was
Hmm.
forever ago. So like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's one of those things where it's just like, oh man, my childhood.
Oh yeah. And with the New
But
Frontier specifically, I didn't watch past that point of like what I like that little like 10-second clip that I saw of it because my
oh,
parents, I wasn't really sure at the time what my parents would allow me to watch. So I was just, yeah, I don't think they would have liked me as a 10 or 11-year-old seeing, that. I don't know if more of that would happen. So I just clicked, and I just like kept going. Like kept going to like Nickelodeon or whatever. And then, so
mhm.
I didn't even really like register what the movie was. I just knew that happened in that movie. And then probably 10 years later, at some point in college, I was in a binge where I was just watching a bunch of DC animated stuff and I popped on New
Yep.
Frontier, and that happened the first 10 minutes of the movie. It's like, whoa, is this scene? I've had that in the back of my mind for 10 years, and there it is.
We're back. Like
uh,
no, that's real. That's real.
yeah.
Like you hit the it all clicks all at once. That's so
Hmm.
oh, that's real, man. Ugh,
Yeah.
memories.
Um,
This one
yeah.
is
And I
back. I'm
also
trying to
take off. Yeah.
what?
Oh, oh, okay.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh,
Now your turn.
okay. Oh dear Lord. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is just impossible. Um, can't do that one. Oh, really good. I really like 90% of these. I found like the one I'm not
Mm-hmm.
okay with. Oh,
Hmm.
what about Batman Year One?
That was my next one, too. Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
not
yeah.
bad, but of the solo Batman stuff left on here is definitely, I think, the weakest one. It's Yeah, it's just a little slow compared to others, I guess.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those movies where it's like a Batman, like kind of like like quote Batman Begins type story, but
Yeah.
for some reason, at least in the movie, you don't really see a lot of training, but you also don't see that much Batman. You kind of see like
Yeah.
logistics of becoming Batman. It feels like
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It
Yeah.
feels like it's the one part we kind of didn't really want to see.
Mm. It's almost more so a Commissioner Gordon movie, which I don't hate,
Yeah,
but it's yeah, like you're there for Batman, and obviously Gordon is a Batman character, but like I'm pretty sure Gordon takes up more screen time than Batman, which is fine. But like you're also I don't know. I also I'm going to talk about this more in just a little bit, but I feel like at this point, Batman's been around for so long. I feel like he's been in the more like surreal era as opposed to like the mobster era. So anything that is Falcone, Maroni, those type of stuff is just a lot more boring than you know later villain stuff. So anything that just focuses on the gangster side is just a little. I don't know, feels a little underwhelming compared to other stuff. So that's also part of it.
yeah. I mean that's fair, and also too, like I think it's not even that for me. It's like 'cause I feel like the mobster, gangster, like street level thing can still work for Batman, especially early Batman. But I guess it's just
Mm,
kind of like it feels like we're not do like he's not really solving a case. He's not really. I mean, he's kind of just introducing himself as Batman more or less most of the time,
yeah.
which is fine. But it feels like it's not really doing anything. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of
Mm,
just it's I don't know. it doesn't really leave a mark. It's kind of more of it feels like a lead up into a series of movies that, like, granted, obviously Batman as a whole happens, but like this universe kind of feels like it kind of leaves it hang on a cliffhanger almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, not a terrible movie, but compared to other Batman stuff, it's just not quite what I'm looking for, I guess.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Another one of those where I definitely recommend you watch it at least once, but
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, not by any means the best on this list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think I'm just gonna keep riding that train, and I'm gonna go ahead and say Long Halloween.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do like this one. It was pretty good, and this was a two-parter, which I
Yeah.
liked.
Any that are two putters, I just put together because I thought that would be unfair.
Yeah,
Um,
right. It's fair. Yeah.
yeah, I really liked Troy Baker's Joker. Two-Face and his wife really annoyed me. Like it just it's one of those scenes where it's one of my biggest pet peeves for any piece of media where if two people just had a conversation, the movie wouldn't happen.
Oh my god. Seriously.
If they just talked it out, it'd be perfectly fine. But regardless, like I thought the mystery itself was pretty strong, especially for someone who hadn't like actually read Long Halloween. Obviously, like I've heard of it. Like I know it influenced a lot of other media, but like I never actually like knew the story itself. So the mystery as it was happening, like I was intrigued by it. I liked seeing the origins of Two Face. I liked seeing essentially like the very natural progression from the mobster stuff into the more surreal villain, even like within that same time period. Um, I thought the art style actually maybe fit Long Halloween better than it did the Superman Man of Tomorrow. Um, I really like the way Batman looked in this movie. I feel like almost every element of his design is like almost pretty much like what I imagine when I imagine Batman. Um, but yeah, it's also a thing where like I just feel like there are other Batman movies on this list that I just prefer a little more.
Agreed. And yeah, it is good. Like I enjoyed it when I was watching it. Like I was eating it up. The story
Yeah.
was good and twists and turns. But yeah, and I also like how it kind of the Long Halloween is kind of famous in Batman lore as kind of being the like turning point from, the Maronis, the Falcones to the Jokers and the Poison Ivy. Like kind of we go from the gangsters to the lunatics kind of like point, which it did really well. Because even like you could tell, even like from part one to part two, like there was a lot more craziness, shenanigans going on, more things. So definitely something I really liked about that. Loved like how they did Batman, and I like the kind of the idea, and something I've always wanted to do with like if I ever made a Batman series or like movies or something, like kind of have where it's like Batman, Gordon, and Dent kind of together as this team, and kind of as Batman and Commissioner Gordon kind of rise up. Dent eventually has his downfall, and it kind of reflects kind of the rest of the way, which I think is really one. I think it kind of adds to the importance of Two-Face as a character. So I feel like a lot of times he can just be overshadowed as another gangster type. Whereas I feel like there should be a lot of big character both with Bruce Wayne and with Batman, not just he's Bruce Wayne's buddy, but also him, Batman, and Gordon were trying to work together. They were a big part of this, and they kind of they don't want to give up on him, but at the same time, it's also Two-Face. So I think that's something they did really well with this, and that was set up well. So
yeah, solid movie. I definitely recommend it, but there are others on here I just like more.
Agreed.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
Your go.
This gets more and more difficult every single time.
There are two on here I know you haven't seen. I'm just saying.
I know, but yeah, it's true. just gonna, it's time. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do Scooby-Doo and Crypto. I haven't seen it, but I assume
Yeah.
it's probably not this far good.
I
Oh,
would pick stuff over it, but it's yeah, like it's not one. None of the Scooby Doo ones on here did I think would even come close to making it in the top five. But it is a very very good incorporation of both the different worlds of like that they're doing. Like it's a very good Scooby
okay.
Doo thing while also just being a good DC thing. Like they have a lot. It's not just Superman stuff. There's a lot of like just bigger Justice League references as well. Um, it just the person who thought to do crypto with Scooby Doo stuff is just such a genius. Like that just makes
He
sense.
deserves a raise.
Yeah. Um, like you have all the classic Scooby Doo gags. They even do this thing where they like the title credits of this movie is the original intro, but instead of like the monsters, it's Solomon Grundy and Zod and like all the villains that are in the movie are yeah,
Oh, that's
which like
smart.
like the creep is like one of the classic Scooby Doo villains, and it looks exactly like Solomon Grundy. So when they just put that there, like oh that's so good. It's like I think it was like Black Manta instead of the guy with the scuba diver head.
Oh,
Like it's just
scuba suit guy. Yeah, that's
yeah, like
smart.
stuff like that. Just that's such a good incorporation of both media. Um, obviously, they have the classic scene where they're in a long hallway with different doors and people like running through
Right,
them.
right.
Like
There you go.
it's like
Yeah.
it's by the end of it, like there's not even really a mystery. Like it is a mystery, but the villain is just who you expect it to be, but it's
Kind of
not
Scooby
like
Doo like.
yeah, like but the way it wraps up, it's almost so obvious that like it is satisfying in a way because like you kind of hope it is this and then it is and then there's a whole thing at the end that just goes bananas. It's
That's like,
it's just a very very good you know if you know of Scooby Doo and you like DC stuff, it's I would definitely recommend watching it. Um,
hey.
yeah.
I'm looking for it on Max right now, and I don't see it actually. So I'm
It
kind
was
of
there
like,
last month. Where'd they all go?
maybe I'm missing it.
Nothing under Scooby Doo.
No, I don't think so. No, it's
Is the
not on there anymore.
is the Brave and the Bold one on there?
Yes, the Red and the Bull one's on there still.
Okay, at least there's that. Okay,
That's
well maybe it'll come
disrespectful.
back.
Hope
Like,
so.
but a lot of these were just taken off for no reason, and I don't know.
That's my thing. It's like I get like if full licensing. It's like, but like it feels like
This
you,
is
you just
yours.
chose to take
You
these
own
off,
this.
right? Like, right? There's not really a reason here. You kind of just didn't want it.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. In fact, Scooby Doo and Crypto 2 was one of those movies. Remember back when Batgirl was canceled and a bunch of other stuff was being like taken off
Oh
HBO and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
This was one of those movies that I don't know if there was a campaign for it or if people just thought it was being deleted but didn't actually or whatever. But like, it was one of those that was at least like was was thought to be lost media at one point, and now, but it does exist, thankfully. So I'm glad it does. And if you can find it somewhere, I recommend watching it.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, Justice League versus Teen Titans.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mostly because I find Robin really annoying.
That to be fair, that's every movie he's in my
Yeah.
opinion. But yeah, okay. So do you want to start? You want me to start? How do you want to?
Hmm?
I'll just start. But yeah, okay. So I mean,
Yeah.
this movie on paper is pretty cool, and there are some moments that I do like. I like how I do like how they had the Teen Titans is in. This is one of the few times that I've ever seen the like Justice League and the Teen Titans coexist like straight up
Huh. Yeah.
because so often they're there's we need this show and that show. Like Young Justice is kind of it, basically,
Kind of.
but technically not. But like this is straight up, yeah, this is the Teen Titans. Yeah, this is the Justice League. And they coexist and that's fine. And I think it's good because it makes a lot of sense. It's and it makes sense like, okay, Damien's here, but he's kind of struggling to be a team player. Well, let's put him in basically superhero daycare.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I like that Cyborg is kind of an overseer of them. That might be Judah's contract, but I like at some point in this universe they do put Cyborg with the team to at least not where he should be, but yeah.
No, I mean where he should be. I mean, let's be real. I mean where he should be. Like like especially because in the movie, isn't he like a college student? Or at least the first movie, he's like high school, I think, in the first movie.
Well,
so I guess he's probably like college age.
Yeah, because his dad missed his final high school football game. Yeah.
Right. So I guess he's probably like college age by the time the movie comes out. So he fits in. I mean, Nightwing's probably older than he is. So. But I mean, it's a pretty good movie. I know it's like versus, but they kind of fight them, but kind of not real. I mean, they fight some of them.
They just put Justice League in the name just to sell tickets.
But yeah, I mean, basically, let's see. I like how the Teen Titans kind of like do other stuff, like they have. Because don't they go to like the parade? Not parade. They go to like a carnival or something like that. They kind of like have their own life a little bit. I think that's cool. That like kind of like how they have and like kind of like even in the show, like they're still heroes, but they still have like regular lives. It's not like
they're still kids.
Right. They still do stuff and like it's not just you live in the tower all day and like no, you kind of just go like I do think it's interesting how like the kids don't really have secret identities, but like the adults do.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Because like Robin, like Damien's just walking around, no mask, no nothing, and like clearly Starfire. I mean, she's orange. You can't really, you know what I mean? Like that's not really a
Beast Boy. Kind of hard to
he's green. I'm pretty sure Raven just wears her regular costume. I don't even think she wears. No, she wears clothes. That's a lie. But I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't like attempt to like hide themselves at all. So anyone putting two and two together could probably figure out who is which. It's not like a concern, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, with that logic, why have secret identities at all? But say lovey. But I mean, because Damien's just kind of walking around with obviously Starfire. And anyone who can put two and two together can picture, okay, well, Robin all of a sudden is with Teen Titans. That was random. Bruce Wayne's kid is just hanging out on the other side of the country with Starfire. Well, I'm not a betting man, but even I would put a few bucks on him being Robin, which means Bruce Wayne is Batman, which means, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I know this, again, it's comic book logic, et cetera, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's pretty good. I do, like I said, title is a little misleading. They don't really fight them. I mean, there's like they get Superman back, and then like Superman kind of fights the rest of them. But I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's
they did. Yeah. I do. It's just a thing with New 52, apparently, just to have the biggest bad guy be the first outing, because the first Teen Titans movie is Trigon as the villain.
Which, again, in the end of the whole universe, they have the two big bads pretty much fight to the death. Symbol with no one else can hang with. Kind of symbolizing these guys. I'm like, but didn't we beat him? Like, not that we could now, but like, didn't they beat him earlier without any help? And
yes. Like it's a cool idea. I want that to happen more often. Something that to happen more often. But like we did beat them individually. So them fighting shouldn't really be a big deal. But yes.
matter at all. But but yeah, I mean, it's a different movie, different logic, different rules. But that was a movie designed for the heroes to lose, so there's no plot armor, which there was
Yeah.
probably plenty of in the other movies. But overall, pretty solid movie. Not my favorite in this universe, but not a bad one by any means.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
That was
And my move.
mine.
That was your
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I am going to piggyback with Judas Contracts.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to I mean, I kind of forget where one movie ends, the other one begins, except that Nightwing has a different costume. But I do like that. I mean, so the terror part kind of annoys me just because, I mean, I get we all knew it was coming. It's the name of the movie. But at the same time, it's kind of like it wasn't really, it didn't feel like it was done well there. I know they only had one movie to set her up, but they easily could have
been there. Was she at all in the
No.
previous one? Yeah, she should have been there from the start.
That's what I'm saying. She should have, she had I think she had a after credit scene where she's coming towards the tower. But I mean, she easily could have been in the first movie.
Yeah,
they could have completely added her with no problem. Because especially you're gonna do this. If you bring her in the same movie she betrays the team, for the audience, that feels very.
Yeah.
Oh wow, big emotional payoff. You know what I mean? Versus, if you had been in the first one, she actually helped us save the world the first time. Then she sells us out to Deathstroke. Then it's yo, what the heck?
Yeah.
But,
Speaking of which, I love how they remedied their mistake and resurrected Deathstroke after they stupidly killed him off in the first Batman movie.
Yeah, that was, yeah. Did they explain how he survived?
Somebody... Brother Blood did something to resurrect him. I'm not sure exactly how, but whatever.
Probably that or Lazarus Pit or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
you can kind of just put Lazarus Pit something on most things and it works out.
Yeah,
but that was they did bring him back, which was good because they definitely needed him for this movie. Yeah. Although I think Brother Blood, if done well, could have been a good villain, but I feel like Brother Blood was weird.
Yeah, I don't really know why Brother Blood was there if you also have Deathstroke and Terra. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why they need to do all of that, but it wasn't... I felt it incorporated together well enough. Brother Blood hired Deathstroke to do this, I guess, but he can do his own thing, or he can still be under the League of Shadows, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, good enough. I mean, straight up revenge would have been a just fine motive. He didn't have to have a financial incentive to kill them, especially Damien.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, but that was, but it is what it is, and they did a fine job. I think I do like that. Again, the Titans are really solid characters. They feel like kids who work together, live together, stuff like that. Yeah, Terra as a character kind of just never really. I don't know. I mean, this is kind of all Terra versions of Terra, and I know part of it's because she turns on him, but even before, it's just Terra never seems like the kind of person you would actually want on your team, in any media. Because it's just kind of
see what you're saying, yeah.
Well, the thing is, one that she I mean, at least this version just seems I mean, granted, you can say the same thing about Robin. She's kind of just a brat and kind of just here, but it's also come, you got nowhere to go. We're being really helpful. Be cool. You get to be a superhero. That's awesome. Chill out.
Yeah.
Especially after what you were exposed to, it's dude, you were literally about to be killed. Your family basically was gonna kill you, and now you're oh, now I'm gonna kill your family. And I get maybe that's maybe it's a parallel to abuse in the real world to some extent, but at the same time, it's all right, come on, kid, you
Yeah,
gotta give him something. But
yeah,
yeah, the fight scenes are pretty good in this movie. I do
yeah,
like Nightwing actually is the hero at the end. He actually doesn't
yes.
just die or get busted. Like he actually like I thought they were gonna make Damien the hero at first, and I was gonna be really
Hmm.
upset if he saved everyone. And I was like, come on, man.
Again,
Like
yeah,
I get he's like the yeah, like, I get he's like the OP young prodigy, but like so is everybody else, bro. Like
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
well, but I don't like it. Your thoughts? Sorry.
No, you said pretty much everything. I think, yeah, I solid. I do think I actually like it better than most of the other New 52 movies, but yeah, that can only really get you so far.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're getting to more of the higher tiers now, so we
Oh
can't really
yeah,
just you know
like I think we're
not.
like I feel like we're two away from A tier, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, I could say that. Yeah,
Mhm. Okay.
because yeah, most of these I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
get rid of
anytime.
that, and then I'm
Oh,
gonna stay in that little quadrant there and go Justice League versus Fatal Five.
ooh, okay, yeah, I could
Yeah,
see that.
another one that I wanted to watch, so it just wasn't on HBO, but I still remember
Oh,
pretty
you haven't
fondly.
seen it?
No,
Oh no, you have seen it.
I
Oh, okay,
have. Yeah, we reviewed it
okay.
whenever that it came out 4 years ago,
Oh
whatever.
yeah, we.
Um, it's it's fine. It just I know this is the point of the movie, but I feel like if it wasn't, a Justice League Unlimited reunion, it wouldn't be nearly as good. If it wasn't
Agreed.
those three voicing those characters, you wouldn't really care.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean,
Because
yeah,
outside of those three, we have a different Green Lantern, a different Martian. Mister Terrific is there, but doesn't really do much. Like Flash is just nowhere. Um, and then it even kind of messes with the continuity the of the original show because there's two different episodes of the DC animated universe shows that have Legion of Superheroes stuff in it, and
hmm
then this doesn't really seem to follow that continuity at all. Because at least Superman interacted with Starboy, I believe, back in his show, or at least some like a couple of people from that team. Um,
hmm
I guess no one from that group was there in that movie who went
right,
to the future because that was Green Lantern, Arrow, and Supergirl, and I
right,
think them three.
But then Supergirl ended up staying there, and she was
Yes,
nowhere to be found. So
maybe this is earlier in the timeline from their future. Whatever.
I, I
Yeah,
guess I
yeah,
listen.
but
It's too complicated to try to pick that high end.
yeah, but I remember Starboy being very annoying in this movie because when he time traveled, he got amnesia or something, so he was worthless for most of the movie. Um, the action scenes I thought were from memory were very very good. Like I liked watching those three work again in this similar art style against the Fatal Five. Um,
hmm
but I don't. But I also don't really love how it is like it was meant to be this reunion of the big three from that continuity, but it really ended up being a more of a what's her name? Oh,
Jessica
that
Cruz movie.
yeah, Jessica Cruz movie, which I thought was a weird choice. Like, not that I
Yeah, I
dislike
mean,
her, but like, I don't know. Like, that's not
no,
what I
I'm
would have
with
done.
you. No, I'm with you. If you get the big three back, you make it about them. Especially like when you really look at it, they didn't get a lot of like them centered episodes. They got like three. Like
Yeah,
there was
one
mainly
of them they
Batman
were
Superman and Wonder Woman.
babies.
Yeah, like one of the babies, one they're like gorillas. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Oh
just like
yeah,
a straight up. Yeah, you know what I mean. So like that felt kind of
yeah.
missing, and also too, yeah, it just like I get the Fatal Five and like the Legion of Superheroes and just like our other interesting things, but like
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like that could have. it felt like they got like the OG Justice League characters back to be kind of B plot side, more side-ish characters who had some great moments. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but it felt like they should have been more of the focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
a
agree with
solid.
that.
It's a solid fan service movie, but I kind of
Yes.
wish there was more fan service in it. Yeah.
Agreed. I mean, there are some moments. There are some things that are still iconic. Like Batman calling the guy Skeletor is hilarious, but yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of stuff where you just also like not a lot of things adding up with like how they work and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, this guy could like they kind of it felt like Superman kept his Justice League continuity of getting dogged by everybody for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, come on, man. Like I get it. Like I don't know, maybe that's a writing joke. They're just keeping that consistent or what. But I'm like, come on, man. Like Superman immediately gets like incapacitated. I'm like, whoa. Even if Superman could have like would have been cut by that. The fact that he doesn't just immediately dodge or just grab the hammer himself or the axe
Uh,
himself is crazy to me.
yeah.
But you know, it's fine. It's fine.
Mm. Okay.
Not a bad choice. Not a bad choice.
Your turn.
Okay, my pick again, and I am probably going to pick the other Scooby-Doo movie that I haven't seen.
Yeah. Th- this one is it's so fun. Obviously, it's set in the Brave and the Bold show universe.
I love that. I
That's
love it already.
and it meshes so well with with Scooby Doo. Like, and they also incorporate other like they like the point of the movie is Batman is a part of this like society of other detectives with Martian Manhunter,
Mm.
the Question, this monkey who's a detective, um, and Aquaman really wants to join the team too, so you get more Aquaman stuff. It's just
Oh,
delightful. And then yeah, the gang, the Scooby Doo gang, are you know are ushered in as part of that team, and it's just again if you know about Scooby Doo at all, it's just a very good. Essentially, this is the kind of springboarding off the previous discussion. This is exactly the amount of fan service I wanted from the Fatal Five movie because I feel like it is the perfect balance between just Scooby Doo antics and basically a longer episode of Brave and the Bold. Because Brave and the Bold had a couple of weird crossover like elements, especially
oh
with like
yeah.
that might stuff happening. He's not in this, but
Mm.
like you could see how it felt very natural within this universe for this kind of thing to happen. Um, so so yeah, I like if especially if you like the Brave and the Bold show, it's a very cool like uh like reunion for a lot of like not really yeah return to that universe if not just for that one movie, and Scooby-Doo just kind of enhances the vibe and it's very solid.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I recommend it since that one is on Max. I recommend it.
I was about to say I added it to my list just now, so I'll probably watch that over the weekend. To be
Yeah.
honest.
All right. um just to be aesthetically pleasing, Batman VT and TMNT.
Oh,
I
it's so
like that
much
movie a lot,
fun. But
but there's so many others on here I
yeah,
like more.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, we're probably in the age here
Yeah.
now, at least.
Like
But I mean,
if I had to
yeah,
give a criticism, I remember it looking very low budget. Like the animation isn't great
yeah, I
overall.
did. Yeah,
Um,
I mean, that's
but
to be fair, it's not their fault. But
no,
yeah,
no, it's no. Like, but I really like two elements of this. One, I really like Shredder and Ra's al Ghul teaming up. That's so cool.
makes sense.
And I also really like how all of the villains in Arkham getting ooze and turning into different animals. Like that's
Yes.
It's just so cool.
Genius. That's just
Yeah.
it. Just makes sense. It's just genius. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
it just brings
Um,
their inner monster out, and it's just really
mhm.
great.
Yeah.
I also
I
love that.
like how this Gotham has blimps. I will bring that up every time I can. This Gotham has blimps, and they use them very well in
Every
this
time.
movie. Like,
Every time.
uh, um, yeah, it's a again just like with the Scooby Doo thing. If you know anything about the Turtles and you like Batman, watch this movie. It's a very good crossover movie. But there are
Yeah,
others
no,
on here I
it's
just like a little more.
no, and that's fair. And it's so good because like it I remember when this came out and I was like, this sounds dumb. Like I was not like in my head, I didn't see the Ninja Turtles and
Mm,
Batman working. And I have never been so delighted to be so wrong
uh,
immediately. Like it was great. It's just really well written. Like the people who made this clearly love both
oh
projects.
yeah.
And the thing too is like I mean, like the fight scenes are great.
Yes.
I mean, like Batman with Shredder was. Oh, I thought I was watching like a kung fu movie. Like that was
Mm,
crazy. How they're both kind of like one's not completely dogging the other, but like in your head you're like
yeah.
Batman should win, but it shouldn't be easy. But then he always sneaks some, so it makes sense. Okay, and then
Yeah.
Batman just like, completely dismantles the turtles. It's like amazing. I love that.
Mm,
In my head, I'm
yeah.
like, this is how it's gonna go down, and then it did, and I was like, oh snap.
Yeah. Like outside of the non-fight animation being a little weak, um, this might be just a really dumb criticism, but the comic this is based on has Batman in like a black and gray outfit, which I feel fits the vibe that the art style of the
Mhm.
comic's going for. And this movie has him in the blue suit, which looks good on its
Right.
own, but I just feel like it just doesn't mesh well with what they're going for. But it's not bad. I just aesthetically I liked the black with the turtles better, but
That's
it's fine.
fair. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Also, like, I mean, I hate saying this, but like, it would have been better to have not Damien, just a different Robin. I think. I feel like
Didn't wasn't there
this. I feel like
multiple
it would.
Robins, or wasn't there Robin and
No,
Nightwing
it's
at
just
least?
no. This one is only Batgirl and Robin. It's
Batgirl, that
Barbara
was it.
Gordon Batgirl. Like, and my thing is, I feel like it would have been really good if they had 4 and 4, because like I was expecting like a Nightwing and like I like personally I would have wanted like maybe like even like Jason Todd. Like I feel like that would have mixed well with like Raphael and kind of
Oh
like
yeah,
you
because
could
I
have
mean
had
one of
like
the main
one turtle for each.
mm, well, one of the main criticisms of the Gotham Knights game is the Bat family is just written like the Turtles. Like you just make that a
Yeah,
Ninja
I
Turtles game
mean,
and nothing would change. So just do that for the movie. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, and for the game, that's definitely a worthy criticism because again, we're trying to play a Batman game. We're not trying to play a 4 player mix and match and beat 'em up like kind of vibe.
Mm,
But I feel like for this movie, it would have worked just because like I feel like with some characters they tried to lean into that, and then
mm,
everyone just kind of didn't have a character. Like I feel like they really leaned into like Barbara and Donatello with the techie stuff, and Batman Leonardo being more like leadership oriented, and then Michelangelo and Damien kind of just being kids, which doesn't really fit Damien in the first place because I mean he's a kid, but
yeah.
he's not. But
Yeah. Like
so they kind of like half leaned into it.
yeah. If it was like Tim Drake was the Robin, but I guess he was Tim Drake started out a little older than the others. That wouldn't really work. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean,
Yeah,
you can make it work though. I mean, they could. I mean, you don't have to make everything perfectly continuable anyway. 'Cause,
yeah,
I mean, they literally write out characters half the time when they do this. So,
yeah. But yeah,
but
just
no, not a bad choice.
when you're really your only criticism is that you wanted more of it. Yeah, that's
Right, right. They do need to make a sequel to this. That would be really good.
because I mean they teased a sequel at the end with Shredder coming out of the Joker, you know,
Mm-hmm.
toxic stuff, but that's probably not getting made at this point. But it's
Nah, I mean, we're too far in.
yeah, It is one of those things though when the Acme place is exploding, you see him fall in. It's like, oh, I hope they do that. And then the after credits scene they do is like, I don't need that to continue, but it is a fun visual.
Like I wouldn't be mad if you did,
Yeah.
but oh man.
Your turn.
Oh, what do we got? 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, we got 15 to go.
Oh dear. Okay.
I know.
We're in the A tier
This is
now.
how you know it. I know. There's no bad movies remaining, which is what makes it so much harder.
Yeah, that's true.
I like this movie a lot, and I feel like you're gonna like hate me. But what are your thoughts on Public Enemies? Because I know you love the buddy cop thing, and that's why I'm like,
I love the what?
and it's amazing. Like the buddy cop, the like two men that got to make a way out kind of thing. I know you love that to death. I know.
I'm saving this movie. Yeah, I'm saving it. I'm using it.
That's fair. That's fair. I had a feeling you would.
Like, it's one of those movies where you are extremely rewarded for being a comic nerd. There are so many scenes where it's just like Batman and Superman against just
everyone,
millions of guys. And like there's one moment where like it's panning from just a while against all these villains that Batman and Superman are gonna have to fight. And I'm like, I'm gonna do this. And I named like 80% of them. Like,
that is the best. No, that is the best feeling. I'm not
even and just I just love how like once the movie's going, it just keeps going. Like there's a scene where all the different breaks. All the ice villains come together to try to take on Batman. Like I said, there's just wave after wave of random villains who on their own should be able to just destroy them both by themselves, but because they're in a group, they gotta tone them down a little bit. And then as keep going, they gotta fight Captain Marvel and Hawkman. Like of course, obviously, you got Captain Atom being just the worst as he always is, but then you got Major Force, who's even worse. Or no,
oh my gosh!
Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Even worse.
In the absolute worst, and just not caring about it.
And like the end where after Superman thinks that Batman blew up, he just starts laying into Luthor. Like that's just so satisfying. Yeah, it's a very, very good movie. Like again, like this is the kind of thing that I wanted more out of the Fatal Five movie, where like this is reuniting between oh no, I'm blanking on the Superman actor's name. Tim Daly and Kevin Conroy. Like I don't. They made a couple of movies together in this time period, but like I think that was the first one in a while. I think that was the first one since World's Finest. They were together.
Right, and that's the thing, because George Newbern took over during the Justice League time, so it'd been a minute since Tim Daly, and like, granted, the voices are almost identical, but yeah.
But yeah, like, and then obviously they still kept the same voice actors for Luthor and Waller. Yeah. I liked how Toyman was like. I really like Toyman in this movie, where he was just like a small kid who was
just like
in Japan, just doing whatever. Yeah.
He's like, oh man. He's like, where does a kid like this have all this money? He's like, Batman's like, I had this much money. Just like, Oh man, no, it's a great. No,
Yeah,
that's totally worth to say. I don't know. I'm literally just like I have no options. I feel like I feel like everything is worth
yeah.
saving.
It was
It's just
also just there's two moments especially that were just especially satisfying. Where first, somehow Gorilla Grodd mind controls Mongol. I don't know why Mongol is even on the planet, but he's here. Being mind controlled by Grodd. Like, okay, sure. And Superman's just going in. And then like once he finds out who that Grodd is, Batman like gets him with his grappling hook. He pulls him down. Superman
Mhm.
punches, and the sound design on the punch just do like it. Oh, it's good. It's good. Which is you feel that.
Oh.
Like
Oh my god.
Grodd's dead. I think you just
I mean, he's a big gorilla. He can take it.
I don't
Probably.
know.
No, probably not. That's probably death for sure. But no, and I do like how they let Superman kind of genuinely be the most powerful. Because I mean, even with all of those, they're like, okay, enough playing around. He just kind of
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, your move.
Mm-hmm. I think it's time for Suicide Squad Hell to Pay.
Ooh, that
There's
hurts
a
to
better
say, but
Suicide
not.
Squad movie on the list, so it's kind of a
But this
doomsday
one's
situation.
also really. They're
It
both.
is. It
They're
is really
both
good.
really good.
It is.
They're like
And
I
I,
love
oh,
this movie. This is a plus idea.
I, it takes a lot for a movie to genuinely shock me nowadays. Like, I'm an adult. I generally, am able to put pieces together and like actually, as long as I'm paying attention, I'm generally able to, see twists coming more or less.
Hmm.
This being the same Zoom from Flashpoint, it just blew my mind.
Gone forever. It did to me what Batman did to him.
Exactly.
Just brain gone. Like no, and that's real.
Like hardly ever do I let out an audible gasp when watching a Justice League movie. It's like, come on.
But it was totally warranted, though.
Yeah. Like
I mean,
you're finding out like alongside Deadshot, it's like, huh, he's running a little slower than usual. That's weird. Like, yeah, he's not really alive right now.
and I like how like there is an in-universe plot reason like that Zoom just doesn't instant win. Because again, like they were right. Like I like bro, like he could have like well, we're not all dead, so something's wrong with Zoom.
Yeah. And I like how when when he said Batman shot me, Harley Quinn's like Batman shot you. It's like, oh, weird.
He's like, oh crap, he's doing that now. Like,
Yeah. Even outside of that, I felt like this team was a very cool team. I liked how they're being hunted by this other enemy team that's like kind of after the same thing the entire time. Any movie with Vandal Savage is an instant win in my book. Yeah, it's a very very good Suicide Squad movie. It's probably I may even like it a little better than Death of Superman. I just think the fight at the end of Death of Superman, I guess the second half of Death of Superman is so good. It overtakes Suicide Squad just a little bit.
oh yeah.
But I think overall, I think the movie itself for Hell to Pay is actually a better movie. But because I like Assault on Arkham better, it's kind of hard to say to keep this one any longer.
I mean, that's fair, but I will say, as far as like genuinely just movie plots that I think are just amazing. Like, I love the plot of this movie. The plot of the movie is so simple, but it makes 110% sense to why this entire movie is happening.
Yep.
Literally, yep, magic card, you die, you go to heaven, straight up. That is 100% something Amanda Waller would get $1 billion Suicide Squad to get immediately. and something that the entire squad would predictably turn on each other to get. Because again,
Uh-huh.
like like if you get in the car, it doesn't matter. Like I mean, that it's
Yeah.
just it's such a smart thing because it's the most selfish, incentivized thing you could do, which is what the Suicide Squad's all about. So they're
Mhm.
going to eat each other basically trying to get it. But there are also other villains involved. It's really well written. I
Mhm.
love like the character choices are great. It's just a really great movie. It's fun. You don't know where it's going to go. Everybody eats it pretty much, except somehow
Yeah.
Harley Quinn who has to, of course.
Yeah.
But like everyone, like it's just so well done. I'm all for it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like that one hurts a little bit, but we're at that point where you got to
Oh,
start making hard choices.
we got. I mean, there's just not that many choices left, man. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just we're at the point where if this isn't a movie you drop everything to watch, it doesn't need to be here anymore.
Mm, okay. Now your pick. And then after your pick, we'll
Undo
put
Public
Public
Enemy.
Enemies back on the table.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna do something crazy.
Okay.
I'm gonna eliminate my own save from earlier this time. It's like now
No,
it's
I've
time.
been
Like
there. I've absolutely been there.
now it does. Yeah, no. Now it makes sense. Like earlier, I was like, oh, you can make it over. Now there's not that it's not a great movie, but now there's not an argument. It's probably objectively the worst movie remaining, like just straight up. And I think
Maybe.
that's just. I mean, okay, maybe not objectively, but like in my opinion, as someone who really likes this movie, I can make an argument that every other movie on here is better, which is saying a lot because that's also a really good movie. But
Yeah. I mean,
it
it
is
has the
kind of
budget of a TV animated show movie, so you can't really
yeah,
only take it so far. Like it's as good as that could possibly be, but it's
yeah.
yeah.
And the thing is, we remember the really memorable, the really awesome parts, but the movie does have other parts that aren't as memorable. Not necessarily bad, but I mean, other than the rest of the teens, other than like Starfire and Robin, the rest of the Teen Titans are kind of just there, which
Yeah.
like isn't their fault, but I feel like that's kind of something the show kind of did often with certain characters. It was like, okay, if this is a Beast Boy episode, we're gonna have a lot of Beast Boy, a lot of Cyborg, and some Raven, and the other two characters are kind of just around. Or if this is a Cyborg episode, like what I mean? It's like you have your main Titan for the episode, probably a supporting Titan, and then the other three are kind of just around.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because that's how it would be. But it feels like it's a whole movie it's kind of Robin's movie with the rest of the Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, when Robin's your favorite character, that's not a problem at all.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it kind of, if this had been a Cyborg movie or had been a Beast Boy or anyone else movie, I probably wouldn't have liked it nearly as much as I did.
Right.
And like you said, it is like it's a TV movie budget Cartoon Network movie. Like it's on, it's nice, but it's not to the level of where we're at now, unfortunately. So I will have to do what I must.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, all right.
And then
Just now,
take Public Enemies back off.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I think it's time for Death of Superman.
Oof.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, at this
here-
point, there's not too many arguments you can make for any other ones.
Because, like I said, the second half of this movie is just nonstop, insanely good action.
Yes.
And that alone makes it the best New 52 movie. I think, on par with Suicide Squad, easily. Like, it is a very, very good watch. However, because of just how clunky this movie universe was, the first half is them essentially making up grounds for how bad Superman has been up to that point.
Right.
So you have to introduce the guy at the bar that's really his fanboy. You have to really introduce his relationship with Lois and his parents. Like, like we should already know these people. We should already care about him, but because we don't, it kind of feels like we're just thrown into it. Oh, he already wants to marry Lois. Like, but I don't know this Lois. I can assume a
Yeah, we
lot
have
about this Lois, but I don't know this Lois. I don't know about this Kent. I don't know about, or I don't know about this Perry White, this X character from Superman lore. But because they haven't really, because this is the first standalone Superman movie, despite them being so many movies into this universe where we had again 3 or 4 Batman stuff. Like we got to essentially waste time building up your love for this character you should already care about just to kill him
yeah,
by the end.
right. And again, I feel like this wouldn't be as bad if in the other times we saw Superman, he was more Superman. Kind of like we said with like we can infer about Lois and things like that based on just them being the same character that they usually are. If Superman, from what we had seen, had been the same normal Superman, then I think it wouldn't have been as much of a jump.
Yeah.
But because this Superman has been New
Kind of a jerk.
52 Eyes, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, really a jerk for like
Uh,
no reason, for like multiple movies. And then
yeah.
now we're just like, oh no, the Superman's normal. We care about him now, right before he dies. It's like, oh, that
Mm.
was kind of rushed. But again, the action makes up for it in a lot of ways because I love that the actual Justice League is involved because
Oh yeah.
the fact like you need to do 2 things. One, you need to show that there's a reason Superman can take him and not anybody else, for one. And 2, I think it also just like it adds the weight of if you don't kill him, we lose. Like
Yes.
the planet is gone if you don't stop him. Like because like when it's just Superman fighting him, yes, we know Superman's the strongest, but it's like it's not just telling it. It's like showing us. It's like we have seen every other hero we got get dogged.
Yeah.
Like if you don't do this, we're done. We just quit. We lose.
Wonder Woman put up a good fight, but it still lost.
It wasn't that long of a fight. I mean,
Yeah.
and again, like, and the thing I like about it too is they hyped her up. Like for a second, you thought she was gonna do something.
Mhm.
Like they had the theme music going. She was getting into it. I was like, okay, she has a hit it, and then oh no, like it's like
Yes.
I love like. I like how every character going into the fight thought it was their movie and then quickly found out it was not. Because that feels very like real. Because like Green Lantern, as usual, is talking all this mess. Like, oh yeah, we got this. Gets basically one punched, and it's just like, well, not your movie. Well, Batman's like, okay, well, we need to reinforce. This is bad. And like, the only thing is, I mean, go ahead.
I really like how Flash is essentially doing what like his job as what the Flash should be doing, where like rushing in and out, like getting people to safety. Like Hawkman's about to get destroyed, he runs from Ray real quick, but then he thinks it's his movie. And it's like, okay, it's my turn to actually strike. So he picks up his mace, which is amazingly clever, and does an infinite mass punch with his mace. Like that's so good. It didn't work. It didn't. Why would it?
Worked for a minute. It was pretty good for like 10 minutes, and then
Yeah.
instant no.
Yeah. Like good try, Flash, but
yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like increasingly getting worse, and like other leaguers show up and continue to get dogged, and you're like, all right, Cyborg, nope. Martian Manhunter, oh look, there's fire. Like
yeah, he tried. He did got a couple of licks in, but yeah, didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not enough, and like. Yeah, and then like Wonder Woman comes. Yeah, Aquaman got dogged. Wonder Woman shows up, like kind of. That's not a decent fight. But my thing is like, at this point, why is Superman the only one not here? That does feel a little odd. Like it's one thing if he had a reason. Like if he was like
to propose to
world,
Lois. Like he was with her. Like he was doing his own.
Yeah. but like everyone else, like if you're on, like if the whole Justice League's getting wiped, bro. I mean, the fact that they don't call, like, the fact that he finds out through Lois talking to Jimmy makes a little sense to me. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like at that point we're like, hey, so like Aquaman just got thrown through a building, and we're already down 4 leaguers. I know it's your day off, but like, bro,
Yeah. And I
like,
really like that when he finally does show up, it's him saving civilians. Like I think that's a very
yes.
powerful image. It's not just him, announcing himself, "Doomsday, I'm here to fight you." Like it's like him doing his job, like that. I'm here to save people. Like that's good.
No, I mean literally the scene where they're like on the bridge and there's
Hmm.
that lady in her car and like he grabs her and then she just looks so scared. He just turns and immediately gets blitzed by news and like the
Yeah.
only thing keeping you from being a puddle on the pavement is Superman. It's just like
Hmm.
correct.
Yes.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you can tell the people that made this movie put all of the budget they possibly could into those action scenes, and
oh,
it
absolutely.
it was just very good. And I kind of wish the DC
Glorious.
universe had just stopped there because Reign of the Superman was absolutely garbage. Apocalypse the War was not worth it. Like that's as good as you're gonna get. You should have stopped there.
That was pretty peak, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, just I mean, just great and just Doomsday felt like a Doomsday. Superman,
Hmm.
like it's extremely powerful. There's a lot of just going, and
Yeah.
it's really good. It's really really good.
Good, but I feel like all the other movies on here, I just like more.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Oh man, I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
Your,
this sir.
your turn.
Okay, we got left. We got two. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we got
Well,
12. 12. Okay. Proposal.
yeah.
How do you feel about going to the top 10 and then coming back like tomorrow? Is that
Yeah.
possible?
That's
Okay.
that should be fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I do have like a little homework I do want to do after this,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
we don't
That's fine.
have to.
Yeah, we do two
Yeah,
more.
okay.
That's fine.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize. I know. I thought I like, oh yeah, we could do that. And it's like, okay, you let me roll it, and I know we're gonna want to talk more about more things, and that's
Yeah.
totally like it's totally justified. But I also just
Yeah, because
it's my last week of
historically, when
class.
we do these kinds of videos, we get to the top 10, and then the top 10 is the rest of like the second is as
That's
long
what I'm
as it
saying.
took to get to that point. So
That's what I'm saying because there's so much to say about the top 10, and there's so
yeah.
much to like. Oh, this is so good. Oh, this is amazing.
Hmm.
I
And just the
just
time between
and
picks is going to take longer because we're trying to figure out which one we want to kill next.
right,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Good. Yeah, because I'm like, at this rate, we're gonna be done like 1 a.m. But
If we're
okay.
lucky. Yeah. So your pick, and then I'll go, and then we'll take a break.
Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. Can't be. I don't know. Top 10 DC movies. This is so hard. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, it's hard. It sucks, doesn't it? Like, okay. Well, you're gonna pick right after me. So nope. Oh my gosh. Okay. So mainly because this is one I got on to later, not so much earlier, but The New Frontier.
Yeah, that was probably gonna be my pick too. I like it, but
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
It it has this vibe to it that no other DC movie really hits. I can't really explain what exactly about it, but I just really like the style of the movie. It feels like it's animated almost like a period piece. I don't know. I like the designs of all the different characters. Like they all have their designs of the Silver Age, like 50s and 60s comics, and I really like that style. Um, I like the general pace and progression of the movie. I like how it's like by the end it does a very good job of incorporating all the different elements and characters together to go fight the bad guys. Um, the bad guy the like the bad entity of the movie is a little weak. It's just some weird thing that rose out of the ocean that's just been in the core of the earth the whole time or something. It's a little weird,
mhm.
but uh, I really like how in this movie it's one of the very few very few Superman things where like the whole time he really feels like Superman. Like he almost
Yes.
never pulls any punches. He just blitzes. He gets overwhelmed eventually, like by like a giant laser. But but up until that point, he remembered he was Superman the entire time.
No, that's real because so many times Superman would be like, "Oh right, I'm strong and fast." Like he's only one or the other. You can't be both.
uh,
Like, but no, that's real.
yeah. I really like this Batman. I like this Wonder Woman. I like this Hal Jordan, Martian Manhunter. Like just every character in it is just very solid. It's another one of those where they pull a bunch of very deep cut characters and just throw them into the entourage at the end. That like if you know, you know. If you don't, it's like, oh, that's just another military guy. But no, that is a very specific military guy.
Hmm.
Just yeah, it's very solid. It's definitely one that I recommend to anyone if you care about DC at all. I
I
definitely
would.
recommend watching it.
Yes. A lot of great character moments. I mean, I really and I like how there's like I don't want to say moral debate, but there's like up front there's a lot of like not we don't agree on everything, but at the end of the day we all agree Earth is a nice
Yes,
I think that's a
exactly.
really good. I think that's a really good, and I feel like that's how the Justice League honestly should be more often. I feel like too often they're like not that they shouldn't be unified, but I feel like there should be more debate with them, especially between
Yeah.
like Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. I feel like a lot of times
Mm.
that should be there should be debate. There should be should we do this? Should we? Not? So when there is things like oh Darkseid's coming to help us out, they should be like no. Like, or at least somebody should. Like, it shouldn't just be this, like, yeah, we're going. Like, no,
Uh,
you can go. I'm not going over there. Like, kind of thing. But
mm.
yeah, it's just one of those, like, it's just a really good movie. And the only thing I don't love is just it's kind of like old timey silver agey. And, like, that's not a knock. It's just not the era I grew up in, so
Mm.
I don't recognize it as well as
Yeah.
I would something more modern.
Right.
But I don't think
Yeah.
that's a
If you
bad
don't like
thing.
the style, then that is going to be a detriment. But like for
Right.
some reason, I actually clicked with that style a lot more than I thought I would. So I
Hmm.
really liked it. But yeah, I'm not gonna knock it if you just don't click with it. That's fine. Um, but but yeah, it's very solid. Like I said, I recommend anyone watch it. But yeah, it is also slower, and that's also kind of on purpose because it is kind of fit
Yeah.
that vibe of the 50s and the just it's just kind of how it was back then. But it might not be for everybody, but if you do click with it, it's gonna be a very solid movie.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. My
Last
turn
pick
to know.
outside the top 10.
I think for Similar reasons to the Teen Titans movie. I think Return of the Joker.
Oh, my love. Ouch, that hurts. But I can see your reasoning because,
Because it
like,
is
like
a
kind of like,
very, very good movie. It is a very good end cap
Mhm.
to to the entire Batman the animated series, Batman Beyond. Like it is a good end cap to all of that.
Yes.
Um, However, I do think the best part of that movie is just the part of the movie that is an episode of the New Adventures of Batman and Robin.
The flashback scene, yeah.
Yeah, and not that the rest of it is bad, but like when the best part of it isn't the Batman Beyond part, it's
That's a fair point. That's a
yeah.
fair point.
Um, but yeah, the twist is very very good. The flashback scene is fantastic. The climax at the end, how you know the Joker that was imported into Jason Todd's head, or sorry, Tim Drake's head was was the Joker at that time. However, 50 years ago, however long it was, and so that Joker basically expecting Batman to be one way, and Terry not being that, being able like to adapt and like be able to basically psych Joker out by being different. Just I thought was a very clever way because we've seen Batman punch Joker how many times now, but him being able to actually
Mhm.
outsmart him like that, I thought was very very good. Um, yeah, the rest of the movie is not forgettable, but it's not as like I don't know. I don't remember it as much as the flashback and the climax. Um, so yeah, what do you have
That's
to say about
fair. Yeah. No. I love this movie. This is one of my favorite movies ever.
it?
But
Hmm. Hmm.
I do understand the context of the list. A lot of these movies are some of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
So it's totally fair. And like the thing, this is the movie I was talking about that I've seen more than anything else, probably.
Hmm.
Like, because I had this movie on VCR, DVD. I have the complete series, and now we have it on Max. So like,
Right.
I'll never lose this movie. But what I love about this movie is that it does so well. Like the idea of the Joker like returning in this context is just so awesome because like the way the show was set up where there's like the idea of the Joker's around. There's like a gang that's based on the
Yeah.
Jokers in the show and things like and there've been like there's little hints of previous villains, like there's like old Bane, Mr. Freeze comes back. Like there's some like OG villains that are mentioned
Yeah.
here and there,
Well,
but the
Ra's al
Joker's
Ghul.
never right, but the Joker's never mentioned once, ever
Hmm.
outside of just a couple of like thugs or whatever. And it's kind of like this almost like this like hallowed villainy where you're just kind of like, oh, what about this one? It's like, no, we don't talk about that one. And then
Hmm.
to just realize, oh, that's why we don't talk about this one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like like how dark it gets. And just also like, I mean, it does the show really well by just taking everything the show normally does and just goes to 11. The soundtrack's just
Hmm.
even better. But like, I mean, the score is so good. The action is great. There's an uncut version, which is, I mean, the cut version is great too, but the uncut version is just awesome. Like, it's so
The
great.
censored version is almost worse because
True,
the
true,
censored version has
true.
Joker being electrocuted to death.
This is true. This is
It's
true.
like
No,
how
I
is
mean,
that
like that's. I
better
mean,
than?
both versions are bad. Like, there's no good ending. But I
Mm,
mean, like both versions, like they're like, wow, that was dark. But I mean, also being impaled by your own creation's also pretty rough. But I mean,
yes.
it like, yeah, and like it's just done in a well where it's just like there's the like this like you're kind of learning with Terry. Like, I get he's the Joker, but like why is no one talking about this? Like, what did he
Mm-hmm.
do? What's going on? And you realize you're like, oh, oh, he did. Oh my. Yeah, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I know why you don't talk about the Joker. It's,
Yeah.
because it's kind of like, yeah, and then the Joker's back, and the Joker comes back, and dude, Mark Hamill
Oh God.
destroys this performance. I mean,
Yes.
this is amazing. Like it's like the laugh is peak. The lines, like he's on it in every sense of the word. I mean, and he's having a blast. Like you can
Mm-hmm.
just see it. Like he's coming back. I mean, old Joker's back. Like man, Bruce, you look rough, bro. Couldn't be me. And literally continues to kill. Like basically, like beats the crap out of an 80-year-old man with no
Uh,
problem, as the Joker would. Like, and the thing too, and the thing too is he knows everything the Joker knows. So he walks in his front door, kicks his teeth in,
yep.
doesn't care about no rules, no whatever. He's like, nah, forget that. We're doing this. Like, I don't like we're not doing no honorable nothing. Like, I'm back and
Mm,
I am absolutely crushing everything. You
yep.
go, you know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, it's terrifying because for a while you're like, they're probably gonna lose because like Bruce is almost dead. We don't know what's going on with this, and I mean, and it takes Terry kind of becoming his own self, like really, like, all right, you're Batman now. Like this is it. Like you got to be
Mm-hmm.
Batman, and he does. He's able to figure it out. He finds where the Joker is. He does all this, and then yeah, to be able to take down the Joker in his prime. Like this is not old man Joker. This is Joker just putting the
Yeah.
hurting on Batman, Robin, Nightwing, everybody. Like last week, Joker, that
Mm-hmm.
is clearly better than you at just about every. I mean, he tries fighting him and gets the paws put on immediately. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy, and that's with the like suit and everything. Like you had all the tools and just got rocked
Mm,
up, and it's like, oh my gosh, bro, like we're gonna lose. But he's like you said, he's able to use the Joker's own psychology against him. He knows that Joker always was, talking to Batman, Batman, and all that. Like, all right, let me talk back. Let me throw something that he's never seen before, and now I have the advantage. He's able to use that, get him off his game, and then he's able to win. And the whole Tim Drake flashback thing is crazy, but makes a lot of sense. The technology is completely bonkers, but back in 1999, we didn't know that yet. So,
yeah.
yeah, maybe in 40 years that'll be no,
Maybe.
absolutely not. You're not going to be able to turn into another person with a microchip.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a thing. But it made sense at the time. But yeah, I love the movie to death. I've seen it about 1,000 times. I will see it another 1,000 times.
Mm.
Amazing movie. But yeah, I can see it being taken out just because although I would definitely have it in my top 10, I can see it being a weakness in terms of it is kind of if you have not seen the show, which
Mm.
obviously you should, but like if you have not seen the show, it does weaken the argument by a lot
Right.
because it is essentially a new Batman character.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's
Whereas
great,
I
but
feel like Mask of the Phantasm can kind of stand on its own. Like it would obviously
absolutely.
help, but it's its own movie. Whereas that and Beyond is Return of the Joker is clearly a continuation
Yeah,
of the show.
no, 100%. Like if you don't have the context of the show, you don't know what's going on. Mask of the Phantasm, you can still like because they don't really do it like it's in the animated series universe, but you could easily have. I mean, because I think it was originally made to be a continuation of like, was it supposed to be a continuation of like the Burton movies? I think originally when it was rated, I don't know if that.
Mask of the Phantasm that was the case for
Yeah.
the animated series was supposed to be a
Okay.
continuation. I don't know about Mask of the Phantasm specifically, but the vibes are still there. Yeah.
Yeah, the same vibe. But yeah, but no, that's also amazing, obviously. But yeah, Return of the
Yep.
Joker is one of my personal favorites. Always will be. But I can see the others edging it out on this list just because there's some amazing content on here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man,
Yeah.
like makes the reason you have a podcast kind of content. So it's with a heavy heart that I will
Absolutely.
black this out.
All right. So we will pick this back up tomorrow. For you, it'll be a couple of seconds because I've edited this, hopefully. Uh, we'll see y'all in just a little bit. Okay, and we are back. So, last time, Noah and I were able to whittle it down into the top 10, with last time me making probably the objectively wrong choice, picking Return of the Joker. But regardless, we got down to the top 10, and I just want to go over the top 10 before we start whittling down any further. We got Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Superman Batman The World's Finest, Superman Batman Public Enemies, Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, Batman Under the Red Hood, Superman Batman Apocalypse, Justice League Doom, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox, and Batman Assault on Arkham. 2010 was a goated year for these because Public Enemies to Apocalypse, that was all 2010. Like, what were they? Wow.
Just crushing it, man. And this is what I'm talking about. And it's and we've got like we're in the S tier now. Like this is all like there is no like every single one of these movies I would gladly watch at any point and just go immediately. And it is just really hard to pick a single one because there's so many like quotable. Oh, this is perfect. That's perfect. Oh man, like, the lines are great. Wait.
Like I think this is kind of the perfect top 10 for me.
I feel good about this, yeah.
It's going to be hard to whittle it down more, but it's your turn, so
it's what we out. He's like, man, this is going to stink. Good luck, though. Okay, all right. Yeah. We each do have one save left, which I'm not sure how, like, useful that is at this point, because I feel like that's just any movie, but at the same time, you got to do what you got to do.
Like I have written down what I believe to be the thing it comes down between at the end. I'm curious if it goes if it does that, but so if one of those gets picked, I'll probably try to save it. Otherwise, I don't know.
That's fair. That's the thing. It's hard to tell. Like I have one that I feel like is probably collectively like legitimately like one or two of the best, but the other ones I'm like they could all be considered the best, and it's kind of really hard to like decide. But so this is where we start like being extremely nitpicky.
Yes,
I would assume because again, at any point these are all in. And there's like there's areas where it's like, well, is this really what I want? Is this really amazing? Is every moment of this amazing? And like for most of these, the answers would be yes. And that's why it's really difficult. But because we have to get the ball rolling, I don't know. I can't even say it with a straight face. I don't even know. I just
say it.
Okay. No, I can't now. I talk to myself about it. I can't
say
now. I talk to myself out of it. Like I have to. I don't know. Like. Okay, so for me, even though this is one of the most quintessential of Batman stories just in general, and even though it is greatly, highly regarded, I personally think the movie version is great, but not as great as some of the other movies that exist. And for that reason, I believe The Dark Knight Returns should be taken off next.
Okay. Ooh, that I agree with what you said, and it's not. Yeah, that's right. That's.
I mean, go ahead.
It is a fantastic movie. Like it's
Agreed.
2 parts put together. But like the whole thing is amazing. It took me a couple of watches to like really dig the art style. There's still a couple of things that I'm not like Joker. I think the Joker's design is a little weird. I don't like how small his head is, how small his mouth is. Especially when in the comics he does look more like Joker than this. So that's a little weird. I feel like you could have done a thing where like as he was being remediated, they made him look a little more toned down, but then once he started killing, he got more crazy. He only really got crazy like right as he died. So there's that. Obviously, the fight between Batman and Superman at the end, one of the
Oh,
best
of course.
animated fights of anything ever. Um, I really like Jim Gordon throughout the movie. Just just an older Jim, just trying to figure out how to how to do things. Um, uh, Batman versus that King Mutant guy, also just a really
Mhm.
good fight. But he, I do agree. I feel like the comic version kind of pinpointed the essence of what the story was trying to tell a little better. There's a couple of lines in the comics that are left out that I really like that aren't in the movie. Um, so it's rough. I I it's not one of the two that I thought would make it to the end, although I do think it's a top three Batman movie. So that's
Fair enough.
it's fine.
Yeah, no, it is very well done. Obviously, I'm really a big fan of it. But I guess for me, yeah, like you said, there's kind of some differences between the actual story and like how it's done, and then versus the movie, which again, it's even a two-parter, it's still a movie, so you can only do so much. And
Mhm.
also, I just while it works, it's just I don't know when I think of like my favorite peak Batman movies, it's not while it's one
Yeah,
of my favorite Batman stories, it is not one of my favorite Batman. I mean, it's one of my, but it's not. It is not the essential Batman movie in the same way it is in the essential Batman story. If
yeah,
that makes sense.
right, and that's fair
Like,
because it does help that it is clearly set in this alternate time, like alternate universe. Like Carrie Kelly as a character never comes back in
mm,
anything. Um,
right.
like there's just certain things about like the Batmobile being this big tank, which is cool, but clearly very different from how things usually are. And a lot of that is very intentional because it is kind of a deconstruction of people's perception of Batman. At least I think the comics kind of the graphic novel kind of goes into that a little more, whereas the movie plays it a little straighter, and that's part of the reason why I kind of feel it falls flat on that just a hair. But still, the way the movie does it is still is very very good. So yeah, it's it
Yeah.
hurts, but that's just what this entire
Yeah.
section is going to
That's what
be.
I was
Just
saying. I'm
making
like, it
very hard
hurts, but
decisions.
yeah, there's literally no pick that's not like, oh, but really? Because that's how
Mm-hmm.
I felt in the last pick, but I was like, no, no, that's fine, that's fine. I'm not crying, you're crying, so it's like, oh, but it is.
Yeah.
We're just at that point.
Mm. And I think I need to just go ahead and clear out that entire column and get rid of Apocalypse
Mm, okay.
for two
Yeah.
reasons. And both of them are kind of nitpicky. First, I just like Public Enemies better. So if we're picking one of the two Batman Superman, movies, which funny enough, I didn't realize this the first time I watched them, but on the second watch through, they despite having drastically different art styles, they are technically sequels to each other. Like at the beginning of Batman Superman Apocalypse, there's like a radio that mentions like that mentions how President Luthor went to jail after the Kryptonite comet got destroyed. Like, oh, that's neat.
Wait,
Is that what
what?
happens at the Public Enemies? I don't know why the art direction is completely different, but whatever.
Wait, really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah,
Okay, see, I mean, you learn
yeah.
something new every day.
So,
I need to watch. I need to
so
see that
the
again. I didn't know that.
yeah, so yeah, I like Public Enemies just a little more for and so like the first like real nitpick as to why is one, I don't like the lips. Every character has weirdly profound lips, and I don't like them.
You're not wrong, but
Yeah, and just the art style in general, I think, is really good in some cases. Like in some aspects, Darkseid, Superman, Supergirl, Wonder Woman, they all look fantastic. Everything on the mascara looks great. However, Batman, his suit looks good, but they seemingly overcorrected from Public Enemies. He had the really, really short
mm,
ears. Then They're longer than Arkham Asylum.
Stupid
It's like, what is
long.
this?
No, they're like the like really crazy long Halloweeny, like just like over the top, super long
Mm,
ears. It's just
yeah,
it's funny because it's Batman. It works, but it
yeah.
makes no
Um,
sense.
yeah, and my second real nitpick for this movie is one of my least favorite, possibly one of my least favorite scenes in this on this entire list is, they're on the mascara and like, these portals open up and a bunch of like Doomsday clones come out.
Hmm.
And the Amazons and Superman and whoever, they start fighting them, and like a bunch of Amazons start dying, and Superman's like, okay, it's time to finish this, and then he just shoots a big laser and just blows all of them away. It's like, you you couldn't have just done that from the start.
Yeah,
And then he started
I
like
mean,
and then Wonder Woman had to like console him. It's like, it's fine, they didn't have a soul, so you didn't actually kill him. He's Doomsday. What do you
that's what I'm
care?
saying. Yeah, it's an army of cloned Doomsdays, which is already like
Hmm.
the
It's a
worst thing ever.
problem.
Like it's okay.
But he's able to just laser them all away in one big blast. Like, you could have just led with that.
But then again, you could say that about almost every Superman fight. To be fair.
But like, that's a level of power that he hadn't displayed before or after that point. He just
Yeah.
did that real quick. Like, that level of power he didn't even display against Darkseid.
Yeah, it's like we had like yeah, but but at the same time that we don't see Axe Batman. So I mean,
Yeah,
Battle Axe Batman's pretty awesome. But I
that's true.
mean, no, I mean this movie has some of the best animated fight scenes
Yeah.
just in general. Like
Mm.
there is just like the fights are especially the superpower fight because like the fight with like the Furies and Wonder Woman and
Oh
Marta is
yeah.
just
Oof.
so well done. It's just like just the technique and everything and how they each have their individual strengths, weaknesses, but how they work together. It's so well done. And then
Mm.
just like everything about Darkseid in this movie is just great. He's
Yeah.
just a evil dude. He does not
Mm.
care about your feelings.
Yeah,
He
him just
can't
bursting out of
he
the Kent home and just started going to town as
oh
Superman.
crazy. I remember I watched this with my brother not too long ago. He saw it for the first time. He lost it when they just opened the door and
Yeah.
Darkseid. He was like, "Oh my god!"
uh,
He's like,
Another
"That's
funny,
so petty."
really, really funny thing about that fight is like, it's a really good fight between between Superman and Darkseid. And like, Superman is like getting some really good hits on, and then Darkseid just like uppercuts him once, and he just goes up, and then Supergirl starts fighting him for a while, and then it just cuts back, and Superman's like close to the sun. It's like he uppercut him out of the movie for a good while. Like, like that's
Like, I mean, the fact that you punch Superman into orbit is crazy.
yeah.
I mean, that like casually. But then Superman comes back with like the like full speed spin while laser
Mm.
blasting, like just
Oh
like
yeah.
abs like just like really well done how Superman should really fight when he's going all out. Like not just like oh one power that no, we're using all the powers all the time and killing you basically. Like
Mm. I
oh
love
my
it when
god.
Darkseid like tugs on his cape, and Superman immediately just
Oh,
decks him.
just like, oh, I was like, oh, the disrespect. I'm like,
Mhm.
sir, my mother made that for me. I'm gonna need you to not speak.
Yeah, like
Like,
it's
oh my
the
gosh.
fight scenes are very very good. I really like all the characters, all the villains, etc. Just I like Public Enemies a little better, a little,
Never know.
just a little more. And I feel like now that Apocalypse is gone, if you want to get rid of Public Enemies, I'd be more okay with it. But I just feel like I just need to get that out of the way first. They're both very
Yeah,
good.
no,
They're
that's
very
fair.
close, but I just like
I
Public
would,
Enemy just a
no,
little
I
more.
would agree. Yeah, I would agree. They're both on like the same because they do have the same like energy scenes here. I personally like Apocalypse a little bit more just because although the Public Enemy's art style is way more comic booky, something about the apocalypse. I just love it. The art. It just looks so like over the top dramatic, and like it's just. And Wonder Woman and Amazon. I always like when they go to like Themyscira for stuff, just because like why not? And like there's just like I don't know. I just really adore the fighting, but no, that's totally fair. But on that note, I am gonna go, as you said, and pick Public Enemy because that's kind of what I was thinking also. And I feel like these movies are very. I think the movies do feel very yin and yang. So like I feel like they are almost mirrors of each other. Now that is interesting. That apparently it's a sequel. I did not know that. That's really. I need to check that out. But I mean, the voice acting is the same. But I mean, that was just that's just what you do.
Like if it's one of those things. If you blink, you missed it. Like if you're not paying attention, like you wouldn't even you wouldn't hear the radio just mentioning President Luthor and the Kryptonite comet. It's like, oh, that's okay.
But no, let's talk about this thing.
Yep.
You want to start? You want me to go?
I mean, we already talked about it quite a bit.
That's
before
true.
When you tried to pick it last time.
That's true. But no, we can keep going. But no, I do really love this movie because again, it is like the quintessential Batman Superman versus everybody buddy cop movie, and it's glorious. There's so much detail into it. It's like it goes really depth. Alfred with the shotgun, just because.
Yeah.
Like,
Superman and Batman have they work very well together.
Like elite banter between the two. Like probably some of the best. Period. Which is really cool because it's just like the lines and it's like do me a favor and lose the sense of humor. Do us both a favor and buy one. And it's just like oh my gosh, like, we've really been doing this.
Yeah, I hate that.
it's such honesty, you know. Between me, I hate that. Oh my gosh, I mean that's. But no, this movie, it's so well done. It's got, anytime they do President Luthor, I'm a fan. I love the whole President Luthor thing. It's just, it makes too much sense. Because, of course, Superman, the most, truth, justice, American way person. And like, oh yeah, you know what's the most corrupt person ever? Let's make him president, because you can buy that. Like,
I really hope Nicholas Hoult is finally the one that gets to be Luthor president, because I just see it. I just see him on campaign posters. I want it to happen. James Gunn, make it happen, please.
Please, it'd be so great. It's because again, it's like one of the most poetic things. Because like at the back of your mind, you're kind of like, well, yeah, I guess I could see that happening, and also like, yeah, I mean. It just works so well, and Luthor, just the kind of person who can finagle his way and get his way up to the point where, he's the president, and Superman, even though we all know Luthor is a scumbag, and he's still technically the president. It's well done. I will say, I think the designs for Amanda Waller's a little off in this version. It just feels kind of weird to me.
I can see it.
Yeah. That's kind of just a personal thought.
Like you said, it's very comic booky, and I like just how wide everybody is. Wide and like they all have like abs that don't look like they belong there, but I don't know, just because it's comic book style, it looks
right. I mean, it looks like advanced drawing with a a kid, like, no, we need to make them look bigger because they're superheroes. Because every hero is dope beyond belief. Like, it's ridiculous. It's just like, wow. Like, don't get me wrong. We know how it's Superman, it's Batman, but it's just like, goodness gracious. Like, oh my god. But it's really well done. The story is so big. It's one of those, the story is Batman, Superman versus everyone. We don't have to worry about the plot. It's just everyone fights them and then they win because they're Batman and Superman. And then it's just well done. They incorporate every villain you've ever thought of, even the ones you didn't.
Yeah.
And then just a lot of fun. Just definitely one of the most fun movies I've seen, just in general, DC wise. Like, it's just, it's one of those movies that just makes you love superheroes. Period.
Absolutely. All right. So I guess it's only poetic now to get rid of the last Batman Superman movie, World's Finest.
Oh, yeah, that's what
I
I was gonna make
guess.
next.
I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean, my argument for taking it was gonna be, well, technically, it was just episodes. They made a movie of Superman
yeah.
the animated series, so like, there's that nitpick for one. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
as far as the story goes, I mean, this is great. I mean, this is the first Batman Superman interaction I had ever seen.
Mm-hmm. The first time Joker
So
and
yeah,
Luthor
this
ever
is.
interacted, as far as like we saw, um, and just they just did both of them. They did that very well. Um, yeah,
I mean, they
it
did.
is a very solid 3 part, episode of this crossover, and like it does that crossover very well. Um,
Hmm.
it does kind of have like similar problem that the Return of the Joker and the Trouble in Tokyo have, where like if you aren't watching the shows, you might not understand all the lore and everything that's going on, like as far as the show is concerned. So there is that.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean there is some pieces, but I mean, again, that's one of those arguments where it's like, well, yeah, but if you watch it in the original context of it's just
Mm.
3 episodes of Superman the animated series, then it's like you should know everything automatically.
Yeah,
But also, I mean, I mean it's also obviously totally fine on its own. It doesn't really
yeah.
need that much context.
Mm.
But I mean, it's great. Of course, the voice acting is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's I I will. I mean, maybe you could be like, well, the love triangle thing with Bruce and Lois is kind of out of nowhere, which is true, but it
I
also
mean,
kind of
it makes sense. Like that's totally something that Bruce Wayne would do.
right,
Like,
right. It's a very like, oh yeah, no, how else to make the news than to date the news? But I mean, at the
yeah.
same time, it's like a very like it's one of those things where it's like it makes sense on like paper as Bruce Wayne to just kind of do that, but I guess it doesn't
Mm.
make a lot of sense as Bruce Wayne to actually take it seriously,
Yeah.
which is kind of what it was alluded to later, which is kind of like, oh, okay, I guess so, but that
Mm.
felt a little forced more than just kind of doing it just to make a story, but
Right.
still makes a lot of sense. Obviously, I love the idea of like, oh yeah, Bruce Wayne, Lex Luthor. You guys are like, I mean, it's like, it's like Steve, it's like it's like Tesla and like, oh my gosh, what's the other? I don't even remember. Like all these Zuckerbergs and all the billionaires and everybody like just kind of
Mm.
work together. It kind of just makes sense. It's like, hey, you're the
Right.
billionaire from the next town over. It makes sense to merge and all this stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they work together. You know what I mean? So it makes sense they have a joint merger and everything, and it's kind of a chance for Bruce to look over Lex's shoulder when Lex is kind of just doesn't realize it and all this stuff. But it's very well done. I love everything with the Joker and Luthor. Just like
Oh yeah.
it's just immediate chaos. It's amazing. It's just like it goes exactly how you think it would go.
Mm. Like how Mercy and Harley Quinn get into a little scuffle. Like,
Yeah, just immediately, and just like I also love how like Lex Luthor does not think Batman is at all a thing. He's just like, dude, Batman's
hmm.
stupid. He's just a guy. Like you can't deal with him. And then immediately changes his mind when Batman breaks into his house. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe we need to deal with this.
Yeah.
This is the problem. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's just it's a cool concept. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it just makes sense. It's fun. Joker gets all the weapons and he just playing around, blowing stuff up. Like there's so much fun to be had. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's a very good special movie, whatever you want to call it. But I I personally feel like it got as far as it was going to go, being just not
Agreed.
really a movie, in the sense of
Yeah, I
as
mean
far
that's
as the
what
rest of them goes.
it's done. Yeah, I mean it's done amazingly well. It's totally worth watching it every time. But it's just like, oh man, it is the Batman Superman story, honestly, in my opinion.
Hmm.
So Ugh,
Okay.
really good. The only thing is, it makes no sense that Batman can throw Superman, though. To be fair,
Well,
but this version of Superman is known to be not as devastatingly powerful, but it's still kind of just like
mhm.
really like.
Yeah. All right.
But
Your turn.
anyway, all right. Um. Although, okay, so
Hmm.
despite how awesome it is, for similar reasons to a movie that was not on this list, but we talked about, kind of like Apocalypse War, I feel
Hmm.
like I might be picking Flashpoint Paradox next, just because
Okay.
although it's amazing, it gets really dark. Like everyone
Yeah.
dies
That.
for
Yeah.
one, and also, while it's also really good, again, like we've kind of noticed, I've never been a huge fans of like the Elseworlds story, even though this is like the quintessential like alternate universe DC story in general, and it's done very well. Don't get me wrong, but
Oh
I
yeah.
just it is not the quintessential DC. I mean, I don't know how to word this. It is still
I.
technically an Elseworlds story.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Like this is some people's favorite DC movie, and like
Mhm.
it's a good one to be your favorite.
Oh
But
yeah.
I don't get nearly as much enjoyment out of it, mostly because in general, I it's okay to have one or two stories here and there where there is this bigger sense of dread and just destruction, but I like superheroes being a little hopeful. Like
Agreed.
so this whole movie is nothing but just is like is just Flash is just put into this apocalypse that is only getting worse until it gets so bad he has to literally reset the entire timeline again. It's just a little much if you don't like that kind of storytelling. So yeah, I could definitely see it going now.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things where it's like it might be a great movie, but it's just like so dark some of the time. And there are amazing moments. I mean, I love
Mhm.
everything about. I will say the original Justice League design is kind of weird, especially
Yes,
Superman's design
yes,
looks kind of
that's
wild.
something I wanted
But
to bring up. Two things about this movie that I really want to talk about. One, just like with Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, everyone has weird lips. In this movie, everyone has like a super thick neck, just the biggest neck they could possibly draw. Like Superman, he his head is literally like shaped like a triangle. It's a thing with Aquaman. It's weird. Um,
yeah,
to the point that when
the,
Zoom shows up in that one Suicide Squad movie, when he takes his mask off and his neck is that thick, is like, oh, it's literally the same guy from because his neck is so thick.
I should have seen it within the costume. That's enormous.
And two, I I absolutely adore the moment in Flashpoint Paradox where like the Air Force is gearing up to go take on Aquaman's team, and Hal Jordan is like leading that squad, and like it's building up as if like he's gonna be this like this big grand hero for the rest of the movie, and then just eaten by a kaiju just immediately.
Yeah,
It's like whoops. Oh well.
literally. I mean, but that's like the kind of like by that point in the movie, you're not even phased by it anymore. That's how bad. That's how
Mm,
much death is like. This movie's ridiculous. I mean,
yeah,
everybody. I mean, Aquaman like floods Europe or something. Like it's just like
mm,
insanity. Like
yeah. Wonder
there's
Woman
just
kills all the Shazam kids. Like that's a little much.
yes in kid form. Like
Hmm.
bro. Whoa. I mean,
Yeah,
people get ripped apart, blown up. I mean, there's a whole like a sea boat of villains with like Deathstroke and Luthor just gets completely
yeah.
wasted. Everybody, it's ridiculous. But
Mm. Yeah,
oh man,
it's a
it
very
is.
good movie. It's a very good adaptation of that story. I just
Mhm.
prefer these other movies more.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, this is kind of. I mean, like other like they've tried to do Flashpoint other ways, like man, live action and animation and sense. And like, in my opinion, I feel like this is still the like best version of it being done outside of just the original story.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. But again, we're in the top 5 now.
Oh dear. Okay. So we got Mask of the Phantasm, Crisis on the Two Earths, Under the Red Hood, Justice League Doom, and Assault on Arkham. Wow.
That is
Okay.
correct. Right?
Well, I don't want to do this, but I think personally, and you have every right to say this if you feel you need to, and I will not object. I
Okay.
think Mask of the Phantasm is next.
Yeah, I agree.
Ah.
I just, dang it. I was gonna pick that. Like, I mean, like, again, amazing movie. I would say probably the best written in general. Just art,
Yeah.
like, it's just very well written. The themes are so good. It just does Batman so well. Kevin Conroy's performance, per usual, is S tier. But I mean, it literally, the only reason I think it's the lowest remaining is because it's just Batman. And it's later, it's either the whole Justice League or the Suicide Squad. Or it's like there's other DC elements that elevates everything else there to a point that it's just kind of not fair.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it is a really, really good Batman movie. Like,
it is. I mean, the Joker in this movie is like this is. I would say this is probably the best Mark Hamill performance.
absolutely, 1,000%. And he's incorporated into the movie so naturally. He just does such a good job at being the Joker. Like he has the intimidation, but he also has just the inherent funniness that I think a lot of Jokers kind of lack. Like like that one. He's like reaching for he's reaching like a knife, a hammer, hit him with a bread or whatever it was. Yeah, the ham.
It's with the ham, and it's so, but it's like still effective. Like not even try. Like it's so great because like he'll say stuff that just generally make you laugh, and then you're also just like, oh wait, this guy's a psychopath. I need to focus. Like,
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's like, oh
yeah,
God.
and like I know this movie is over 30 years old at this point, but if you're in the year 2024 and you're tired of seeing Batman Origins movies, it's another one of those. They do go over his origin, or at least him becoming Batman in this movie. So like there are other elements that are new, but like the first half is a little not boring, but like it's a little
slower.
Yeah, it's a little slower. So
yeah, but it definitely picks up. That's for sure. I mean, and the other thing too is like, for me, it's a little. I can't even say it's a tried out trope because this probably did it before a lot of other things did. This movie is, like you said, like over 30 years old. But like the whole someone in a mask killed somebody, it's immediately Batman every single time. It's kind of just like, I mean, there's not like, I mean, we live in Gotham, guys. Like, it's not like Batman's the only freak out here anymore. Like,
right.
Like, I feel like that's what's so like. I feel that's one thing about it where it's just kind of like, come on. Like, if it was just Batman out here, fine. But when you have 30 plus villains and others who are just wearing masks, running around, it's like, does it really have to be Batman doing it immediately? And we just assume Batman's a criminal, like off rip. But
yeah,
other than that, I mean, the movie picks up amazing. Like you said, Joker is introduced very naturally. It feels like, I mean, he's just happens to be in it, which, like, again, it is a little interesting how Joker's like kinda has an origin in it, but not enough where it feels like it's like, oh man, Joker's not supposed to really have an origin. Like, it doesn't feel like it's overwriting anything.
I mean,
it's kind of just
makes perfect sense. Just like with Batman '89, which this movie was like kind of originally going to be in the same universe. He he was a gangster, like at least like a not a good person before he became Joker. That makes sense.
No, agreed.
Yeah.
But no, it's done really well. I really like Audrey Beaumont, who's like a great one. Although it's the same voice actress for Lois Lane, and you can never unhear it once you
Really?
realize that.
Huh.
Yeah. So you don't realize it until you get told, and then you can never unrealize it, and it just throws it off
Hmm.
now.
Huh.
But
Okay.
it's done really well still. So still a great performance. It's really well done. It's just a great movie. The music score is unreal. I mean, when they add like the vocals in with the
Oh
theme
yeah.
music, it's just like you're just like you're feeling the emotion so hard in every scene and all of these like big moments. Like I just think of like when like the bomb goes off when like near the end, the Joker just lets out that just the most Joker laugh ever. Like
I
just
get chills literally every
absolutely
single time. Every single time I get chills, it's oof.
perfect. That's like that makes you want to shed a tear. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
perfect. Like the music is perfect. It's just this, and again, it's the chaos. We're in the place is literally about to explode. Everything's going crazy, and Joker's just like, why don't you see the funny side? Like it's just,
Mhm.
oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's peak. I mean, it's peak Batman story. Unfortunately, somehow peak Batman story is just not.
Not good enough. Sorry.
Crazy. No, I mean it's crazy. But
All right.
we are down to the final four. And again, there is just so much happening here. And I don't even. So this is like their personal picks, and then they're like, I just don't
Mm.
even know what to say now because it's literally just like. So
Mhm.
I'm thinking, okay, so I'm thinking Crisis, and I know that feels wrong, but hear me out.
Can you pick something else? Because I was going to pick Crisis. I
See,
don't
now
want to
you
pick
know
one of
what it
the other
feels like.
three.
No, no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No, I mean, again, I love Crisis on Tour. It is the quintessential
Hmm.
multiverse DC story. It is done
Yes.
extremely well. I feel like they got the Justice League right. I think they got the old. I mean, I think they got just the characters right. I will say, not having Kevin Conroy is such
I
a
mean, they
sin.
didn't have
But
anybody. None of the actors were the same. It was its own thing, which
I
is
mean, I
fine.
think they got I think they still got Michael Rosenbaum for Flash, but I think everyone else, yeah, was dip. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
They might have. I'm not sure.
maybe.
Maybe not. I don't know. The voice acting was a little bit. It didn't feel. I don't like the voice they got for them, and he sounds
No,
too
yeah,
old with them.
I do. Yeah, I do think that was the weakest part of the movie. Is yeah.
Yes, which especially when Kevin's right there, you're just kind of like, oh man, like, or at least like, if you're not gonna get him, just like I don't know, that one just it sounded a little too old. But again, aside from that, I
Mm.
mean, it's done really well. The like, almost said the Justice Lords, but the chaos. What is it?
Crime Syndicate.
Chaos? No. Yes. I don't know why I almost said chaos. I'm so lost. Yeah, Crime Syndicate. There's so many alternate versions and bad.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but yeah, the Crime Syndicate is done really well. I really
Oh yeah.
like how they're like. Owlman is great. Like Owlman feels more like Batman than Batman sometimes, which is crazy to say. But
Mm.
like, I'm like, yeah, that's something Batman would do. Like that was great. Or like, Ultraman is just absolutely just does not care. He's like, no,
Mm.
I'm the boss. I don't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
Like they've done really well. I like how Luthor is portrayed. He's done really well. Um, and also just like how. Also, I like how Martian Manhunter is given more to do. It feels like a lot of times he's kind of just. Granted, it's kind of a subplot at times, but it's also like. Yeah, but it's also interesting because like I like that. I feel like sometimes, despite his abilities, he's kind of just sidelined a lot of the time. And I feel like okay, give
Yeah,
him more.
he did have some moments that did allow him to actually, do like the big things.
Right, be a superhero. He like saved President's daughter and like
I like President Wilson. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yes, I thought that was great. That was one of those things I didn't realize the first time watching the movie. And then when he like when the Martian Manhunter falls in love with his daughter, he's like, "Oh, sure, we have one on our with my luck, she'll be evil." And I'm like, suck. But so real. Also, I think honestly, probably one of my, if not my favorite scene of this is the scene where Superwoman and the I think they made men or whatever get to our world, and then Batman calls in reinforcements.
Yes.
And there's just it's such a good scene because again, there was I was not expecting that. It's so amazing how just these other leaguers who are just it's like Aquaman, Canary, like Firestorm, and
Black Lightning.
I think. Yeah, and they're just those are when I think of hey, I need reinforcement Justice League members. That's exactly what I think of.
Exactly.
Definitely, like all second team Justice League. That's what I think of. I'm like, okay, yes, exactly. This was done. And the fight scenes are really good.
Yeah, the fight scenes are amazing. Wonder Woman versus Superwoman. That's just a very, very good fight. I want more movies and stuff. Wonder Woman material where she's doing wrestling moves. It just feels very natural for her to flip people and slam. Yeah, I like that.
Well, it's one of those things where I think one of the main differences between Superman and Wonder Woman fighting that is not shown a lot of time is that Superman is kind of just really strong. Wonder Woman's strong and knows how to fight. So I think it should be she should be doing wrestling moves, holds, I can do this, throw you on the ground. She's she's really fighting. She's actually taking out really strong people and doing it kind of it's like watching Batman fight, except both people have superpowers. You know, it's the way. Yeah, I feel like that should be. No, it's way more, and I feel like that would help a lot with writing different, drawing, choreographing different fights with that. I feel like sometimes that kind of gets lost because it's really satisfying to see her. Yeah, the thing where she ties her around and just I'm just he got absolutely dogged. That is terrifying. To be that strong and someone's just oh nah, you're going down. That's awesome.
Yeah. I also really, really like alternate universe Jimmy Olsen.
No, he's just giant.
Yeah, how to call for Ultraman, but he's giant and can fly. I love it.
I love how they just didn't Jimmy's actually just insane. He was just enormous and he could fly. I was oh. If that's Jimmy in this world, we're in trouble because I mean Jimmy looks like Mongol over here, just enormous. And I'm just I don't even know. I don't even. If that's Jimmy, I don't even want to see. Oh, what's his name? What's the guy? The ship guy? The guy that owns the Superman.
I can never remember his name. I don't know.
I don't even. Is that his name? I don't know why. I don't remember. I don't remember his name, but you know what I'm talking about. It's just Superman's pals get powers, so I don't know who knows what we have, but just really great, really well done. There's a lot of funny moments too. I will say there are some moments that I will say there are some moments where it feels like for example, it feels like Green Lantern sometimes just kind of there to fight the other Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Instead of do anything. But I also do like the part where they have them coordinate. Okay, we're gonna have all of us attack all of their bases all at once, and they coordinate really well. And the Justice League's just really good together too,
Yeah.
which I also think is just well
Is
done.
it in this movie or is it a Justice League Unlimited episode where Martian Manhunter like crashes through the ship and like destroys the whole thing? Is that this movie?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember. May wait, which ship are we talking about?
There was like a oh dear, there was like a ship at a dock. Oh, it might be the show. Never mind. Never mind.
You're good. You're good. No, it's
Yeah.
okay. I was like, see, but no, it's just a really, really great stuff. A lot of really great. It's just well done comic book writing.
Hmm. Yeah. And I appreciate how like they saw how the crime syndicate was set up, and then when they got back to their world, it's like, maybe we could expand a little bit, and then they brought in the four backups on the actual
Right.
team. Like that made sense.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge like, and we talked about this. But I feel like that'd be like a perfect way to segue into
Hmm.
like expanding the Justice League because it
Yeah,
makes sense in universe, but also it's just a good idea. Like you could kind of have like character. I mean, the only downside is like maybe you would have. I mean, like if you did that in a live action thing, maybe it'd be a little hard to like have everyone casted as the alternate versions. But then again, you don't really have to. You can always just change them
yeah,
up. It doesn't really matter. But
yeah. Well, you can cast people who look similar, but or even just completely different people, and they're just that version. Like it didn't have to be one for one.
no, of
Um,
course, I don't know. It's just,
yeah,
but no, that's just. I think that's a great idea. And that's like if I was to make a universe, that's I would definitely do that. I would be like
yeah.
like a two Earths kind of situation would be the like catalyst for that. But
Hmm. Yeah, it's very
then
very good. I like it a lot. I actually it's one of those movies where I saw like a long time ago. I didn't really I didn't really love it for some reason, and then I watched it again kind of recently, and I really liked it now. So yeah, I like it a lot. But I guess it's fine going. I
I mean,
guess
number four DC. I mean, number four DC animated
yeah,
movie is very, very impressive.
yeah. Oh well. Okay, so here's my problem. I really
Have
like
fun.
these movies.
Yeah.
um, I really like all three of these movies. I have one that I think is my favorite. As far as the other two, let's put it like this. I think I think Assault on Arkham might be my favorite movie on here, but I think of these three, it is the least good movie on here of these three.
That. Yeah, that's fair.
It is really, really, really good, but Justice League Doom and Under the Red Hood are phenomenal. like,
Agreed.
there's just so many moments from Assault on Arkham that just that just I just adore. Like Troy Baker does a fantastic Joker. I really
Mhm.
like everyone on the squad quite a bit. I love how just how Batman just exists as a force of nature, in the eyes of the villains. Um,
Thanks.
I just love how just how it showed the intricacies of how Arkham Asylum works. Uh, the voice acting is all amazing. Um, it's a very very good Suicide Squad slash Batman movie. But I think the other two are just a little better as far as movies go.
No, that's totally fair. And yeah, I mean, I really love how this movie, like you said, it kind of shows Batman from the perspective of the villains as just this terrifying freak of nature, which is just so. It's kind of like the Darth Vader effect, where like if you see him in any other context outside of I'm the main character, you're in trouble. Or it's just like, oh no, like that's not good. Wait a minute, he's the main character. That's not good for me. Like,
because even when he first shows up, like he the first scene he has is against those goons, like it's like Amanda Waller's army people, and the first time you see him is through the lens of a of a night vision goggle. So like even in his first outing, he just shows up and starts beating the crap out of guys.
And he just goes in. And I
love
how
how
it uses.
oh,
Oh, go ahead.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I love how like yes it is a DC animated movie, but it is very specifically an Arkham game universe movie where like he does like the like when the guy's coming out with a knife, he does like the back up and then flip. When he's fighting
like the
King Shark,
takedown.
When he does King Shark, when he's fighting King Shark, he does a move similar to how he fight big guys. Also, like it's a very good adaptation of those games, and it's done well.
It's done extremely well with that. There's a lot of twists and turns. I like the premise is very great. It's just, hey, we got to go into Arkham, which is bad because Arkham's crazy. But also, it's in Gotham, which means Batman's probably going to show up. So,
yeah,
it's just, I just love the part where Batman's just like, wait a minute, what's going on in Arkham? Wait a minute, that's the wrong shift. Like, how
do you know this?
How do you know this? And
Fridays?
it's like, all right. It's like, I'm Batman. And he just is so great. Amanda Waller is great in this movie. Just just it's so much great. The Joker is awesome. Like, there's just so much to love about this movie. It is such a great movie. The Suicide Squad's totally brutal. Like, they're exactly what you would expect. Like, they're just not. It's just awesome stuff, and like the Asylum goes nuts. It goes exactly how you would think it would go.
I love how there are scenes that specifically showcase each of their powers very naturally, and like kind of make fun of the fact that Captain Boomerang and Deadshot's abilities are similar, but definitely are very like but also how they're not really substitutes for each other. Like that scene where they both need to take out two guards. Deadshot just takes him out easily. Boomerang hits one guy, the other guy ducks, and still hits him. He has enough time to call call reinforcements. It's like that. Not only does that just showcase how their powers are different, it also just shows a personality difference between them, and I like that.
Yeah, just really well written. Lots of nice twists. The whole it's one of those things where it's just kind of like. Like the Frost thing. Frost betrays the group like halfway through, which I feel like is a theme. I think about it, but then again, I guess she is pretty cold-hearted. But I mean, I just kind of that was terrible. I know, but no, it's just a really great, fun, super awesome film. It's got everything you want, everything you need. It's just great. It's so good.
Yeah, it's great, but I'm very happy with it being top 3. But yeah, I think it's time.
Oh man.
Okay.
And
now
number 2.
We must decide between Batman Under the Red Hood and Justice League Doom, we believe to be the best TCMA movie.
This is literally impossible. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me think about everything I know about this, because I knew it was gonna come down to this. I knew it was gonna come down to this.
Me too. These are the 2 I had written down where I thought it would be too.
Yeah, because I was because either one, you're just there's no you can't beat this, but also you can't beat this, and it's things I want to take away. You're no, but they did this really good here and too, so it makes up for it, and this is really well done, and but this is this, but this has that, oh my gosh, but then it's oh my gosh, but it's not your like.
Sorry,
Go ahead, go ahead.
go. You first.
No, go ahead. What you had to say? No, what's
Uh,
what you had to say?
I was gonna say like the only thing I can think as of right now that maybe objectively puts Under the Red Hood below Doom is just Bruce Green. Bruce Greenwood does a really good job as Batman, but he's not Kevin Conroy.
Right, but like, I mean, but it's like because that's kind of what I was thinking too, and like.
Right.
Are we really gonna pick over on voice acting? Because it's like, John DiMaggio is also royalty, but it's not the same as Mark Hamill. And
But as far as this movie, he does a really good Joker. Like I think it works for the movie.
Right, and I really like this, and oh my God, this, but the Joker's done so well, and it's really good, and it's arguably the best comic adaptation of any DC movie. Like, it's just. But then it's also like, yeah, but this is like the Justice League. Like this is like it's all like. But then again, you're like, well, yeah, but also, I mean, is Cyborg really in the Justice League? Like, are we still doing this? And like, I mean, yeah, no, but like,
I don't mind him being around. Like he wasn't even like on the team until the very end. I don't mind him becoming a league member eventually. I just don't like him, starting with in the original 6 or 7, however many they start. But I don't think they should start on the team.
But he essentially is. Like, I mean, I know it's not the same, but I mean.
They brought him in basically as like a consultant, and then he just kind of stuck around. So.
Right. He's like an intern that gets hired on full time, basically.
Yeah.
But like, just oh my gosh, decisions. These are both so good because like there's so many things to like about Justice League Doom because like it's just the Justice League movie. Every character feels very in character. The villain choices are really good. I like how they really go in and take the time to explain every every weakness is like, oh, you have a weakness. A lot of them are like bigger than that, which I think is really good and really important. Because like, yeah, sure, kryptonite exists, but like there's also psychological weaknesses and things like that. And like, I feel like that's really cool. And like, just oh my gosh, it's. But Under Red Hood gets so into it with like, I mean, the background, the story, the fight scenes are just perfect. I mean, like, come on, man! Like, double team Batman Nightwing versus Amazo is so cool. It's just everything with Jason Todd is great, and just how he just takes over so effortlessly. And low-key, I agree with Jason Todd. Like, you're watching this movie and you want to be like you definitely want to be like, oh yeah, Batman's really cool, but like you're also like, Batman, he's got a point. You did let the Joker live after that, which is kind of terrible. He killed your son. Like, how do you deal with that? Like,
no, like, but like Batman and Jason versus those cybernetic ninjas. Really good scene. I always forget about it until that scene happens. Like, oh, that's this movie. Yeah, okay. Then they still fight very well together.
No, the guy throws the car at Batman. Batman opens the door, runs through the rest of the car, comes out, and like throw. Like that's the most Batman thing I've ever seen. Like that is like that is just the most Batman thing ever. Like the fact you have the amount of time to think in a split second. All right, this is a 2003, whatever car. I can open it here, walk through there, go through, and like no one's thinking that. Like everyone's thinking Dodge. Nah, I go through the car. Like I'm just that good. Like at full speed. Like
And I think this movie did such a better job than Arkham Knight did with like foreshadowing Batman's, like guilt about Jason. Because first of all, everyone involved knew that Jason was, Red Hood. That wasn't a mystery like who Arkham Knight was. Not like we're teasing the entire game about who this character is, and then he's gonna have visions about this other guy who it logically is this person. It's like, oh, it's his own character. No, it's the person you knew it was. But here,
right?
You only have like an hour, 20 minutes to set it up and like we've seen the entire thing, so we know, but it's still good to like, see firsthand Batman's guilt and like how he's processing it all. So I think that's done very well.
It's amazing, and they just do a great job of it. And like Joker's like again, it's not Mark Hamill, but like John DiMaggio is an S tier voice actor in general, so like he's got it, and like he does a really good job. His Joker's really intimidating, but also kind of funny, and it works in a way that kind of it's different, but it really kind of just like it works really well for this movie for some reason. It just really fits in character. He's very showy. His voice is funny, but it's like a serious. You can't joke around with funny. I really like. I don't know, for some reason I like Neil Patrick Harris playing Nightwing. I don't know if I just like Neil Patrick Harris, but it just kind of works. It just kind of works. It's like a upbeat positivity. Like that sounds like Nightwing. Just like like I'm awesome, but also I cracked it.
I will say it's kind of. I feel like of the voice acting, I think he was probably the weakest one, just because he was just Neil Patrick Harris. Like,
right.
If you recognize the voice, it's like, oh, he's not really doing a voice. He just is Neil Patrick Harris. But it still fit the character fine enough to really mind it. I love Black Mask in this movie so much. I love Joker bullying him every chance he gets. It's so good.
The like recruiting thing with the glass of water is the most Joker thing ever, and I'm just like, dude, it's one of those things where you're like, this is a bad, like you're like talking to Black Mask, you're like, this is a bad idea, and he's like, well, I do what I do, and it's like, this is what I was talking about.
We're giving you some guys. It's not these guys. They're dead.
And it's just like, and he's just like not even phased. Oh, the scene before that where he's like venting with his assistant, and he like takes turns just punching the guy.
Right.
It's such a Black Mask thing. That feels so perfect. He's just like, the one guy thinks he's not gonna get punched, and then he comes back and it's just like, just so perfect, and it's such a well done movie. It's just so Batman. Man.
But is it better than Justice League Doom?
See, and that's I feel like I have to say no, and I think it's very close. I think I would personally pick Justice League Doom over it. I know Under the Red Hood is just like, for many people, is the goated Batman movie in general in terms of animation, and that is by all means and accounts a correct answer. But for me personally, there's something about the whole Justice League being together, being on a team, doing a really great job, and then again, it's all the voices. They got they got everybody back. They got all the voices right. Everybody. It's really well done. All the Batman stuff is perfect. They do it really well. I love how they go into the individual weaknesses of, you know what? We're not going to do yellow for Green Lantern because that's stupid. We're going to do a psychological reason that he can't use that. Like, stuff like that that's just well done. Or like the thing for Batman where like they bury him with his parents. Like, that's so evil. Like, I love it.
And I love when he comes back, he's like, Bane is like, didn't I bury you alive? And I was like, that's where you made your mistake. Like, oh, that's so cold.
It's such a Batman line. It's so dope. Like, it's just like, that's so cool. Like, and that's the other thing. It's just good.
Here's a possible criticism. Let's see if you agree with this. So, a possible criticism is when they do, like, during the climax, when they are, fighting the Legion of Doom for the final time, I feel like the villains are taken out a little too easy. Like Batman, when you're fighting Bane, how do you beat him? He cuts his things and then just punches them. That's how you beat Bane. Now, how do you beat Metallo? He remembers he's Superman, lasers his head.
No, that's real.
Come on, dude.
That's real.
I don't really remember how Cheetah or whoever was beaten, but like, it was just a little.
Basically the same thing. They remember they're the main characters and they win. Like, which To a certain point, you could argue, to be fair, they had the element of surprise, really. Because again, they all thought they were literally dead, and then, like, oh
Right.
no, I'm actually right in front of you, punching you as we speak, is kind of a
Mm.
good. Because again, you could say the same thing the other way around with a lot of them. Because, like, I mean, Batman get beat by Bane in the first place. Well, he caught him completely off guard and in a point where he was not focused at all. I mean, Superman gets caught completely off guard by he thinks the guy is gonna jump off a ledge, and really,
Mm.
it's Metallo with a kryptonite bullet, which is
Yeah.
like, yeah, Superman can dodge a bullet, but like, if you're not like, even if you're not expecting something like that, and it's a kryptonite bullet, I feel like that would still work
Yeah.
easily.
I do really like the scene where Flash meets Mirror Master. He's like, "Which one am I?" You like, oh yeah. Are you gonna ask how my hand's doing? Fine. How's your?
Surprisingly fast. It's just like such a Flash thing to say.
Like that is that's a very good Flash moment. Like I like how Flash is very not jokey, but his villains they have a different rapport than any
Yeah, agreed.
than like
Agreed.
Batman's villains.
The rogues are more hospitable than say Bane or others.
Yeah.
I really, yeah, no, I really like that. I will say also a criticism is that how they win makes no sense in the end. Like how they save the Earth, like they make the entire Earth intangible or something, and
Hmm.
then it like passes. I'm like, that makes no sense at all. Like,
Yeah.
with that logic, wouldn't everyone fall to the Earth's core anyway, or something? Or like, there's no way that they like. I don't know. Something would go horribly wrong with that. That feels very not correct.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it. Yeah, it does. It doesn't make sense at all. But
Right.
it's
Right.
just a comic
But
book
at
thing.
that
You
point in the
kind of
movie,
like. Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, like it's kind of at that point in the movie, you're kind of like, we just need a win. I mean, you could
Mm.
maybe they could have come up with something better, but yeah, I mean, that was one of those. Okay, we kind of wrote. I mean, I feel like maybe you could have had it like deflect or something, or like go somewhere else, or I don't know how solar flares work, but I don't think most people watching it do either. So I feel like you could have just
No. I do really like that moment where Superman's like, maybe I could just move the sun, move the Earth out of orbit. And it's like, if I had a week, I couldn't explain all the reasons that wouldn't work.
right, which is right because like first
Yeah,
of all,
like
no.
if
Second
this
of
was the
all,
50s or
like
60s comics, that is totally something Superman would just do, and it'll be fine. But no, that doesn't actually work.
just move the Earth out of the way which is so funny because you were getting pieced up by Metallo earlier, which is like
Mm,
also I can just move the Earth. Oh, like so wait, you had that in your pocket the whole time, like literal Earth
mm,
move manipulation you can move, but like a robot's beating you up. Like no robot ever should. Or like I do like the scene where they're taking out the Royal Flush game seems amazing. Also, I love that
yes.
setup. But
Mm,
like when the League shows up, Ace comes out, he starts punching, and then Superman stops playing around, and he just punches him, and his arm just disintegrates. It's just like,
uh,
thank you. That is the correct answer. Like when you punch Superman, like you should just basically just not.
yeah.
Like it just doesn't happen. No, super good. But I think I'm gonna pick Justice League Doom. Although Under the Red Hood is like basically 1B, but it's not good.
I could
Would
save
you have been the other way
it.
around?
just because I
Just to
think,
prolong the game. Are
I
you think?
mean,
Well, so you were Under the Red Hood.
I think I've convinced myself I like Under the Red Hood a little more.
That's fair.
Like, like the climax of Under the Red Hood is I think better than Doom's. They're good in different ways. Like it's more Red Hood's is more intimate, which I think like for a Batman story works better. Um, Obviously Doom is going for more spectacle, so it's kind of hard to compare. But I think I like the climax of Red Hood a little better. Um, like the art design in general of Doom is very good. Like each individual Justice League member looks pretty much as good as they've ever been in animation. Although I wish Batman's ears were a little longer, which they are in the Red Hood. So there's that.
I really like certain heroes' design. Batman's one I really like his design. I also really, I know this is like, oh yeah, but I really like the villain designs too. Like I think certain, like I like Star Sapphire looks great. I think that I also like Bane's design too. I feel like it's
Mm,
simple but better than all.
yeah,
I feel like he's big but not as like ridiculously bulky as usual. Like
yeah.
it's enough that it still feels correct. Like he's still clearly on Venom, but it's like not to the point where it's like I can't even look at you seriously. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
yeah. Yeah, I'll honor whichever you pick, but they're very, very close. I think
No,
they're
no.
very clearly the two best, at least in our opinion.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I think I'm gonna stick with my first thought of
Okay.
Doom being number one, but again, it is extremely it's 1A, 1B to the
Put
max.
Red Hood in like blue or something.
Or you know what?
Oh, that makes sense.
Right, right, right.
Okay, yeah, I think made the right choice. Yeah, I think that's definitely the two best. And yeah,
Feels good,
Doom
right?
is Doom is right. Yeah, like most of these movies, I like if you say, hey, let's watch this, I'll in a heartbeat sit down and watch it. But these
Oh,
two, every day
oh
of the
yeah.
week, absolutely.
Anytime, stop what I'm doing. Like, oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm. Okay,
Absolutely.
so that's it. Justice League Doom is the best DC animated movie. Um,
Today.
what are your thoughts down below? Do you think are there any that you feel like we missed that we should have talked about? Again, I'm very annoyed at myself for somehow leaving off just Superman versus the Elite. I don't think it would have made it to top 10, but I still feel like we should have been on here. Um, there's a couple others that either we haven't seen or just didn't want to talk about that I left off for good reason most of the time. But yeah, if there's any that you felt left the list too early, if you don't like either of these movies somehow, let us know. Very curious what all y'all think. Um, yeah, anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
This was hard,
It
but
was
I'm glad we did it.
not as
But no,
hard as of other times we've been doing stuff like this, but this one was this yeah it was pretty hard, yeah.
this one didn't get tough till the very end. But like, there are some others where like I remember we did SpongeBob, and it was like everyone was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no way!" Like, "Oh wait,
I
no, wait." You were like,
that
"No!"
video I think that video is over 3 hours long, and the last hour and a half is the top five or something. It's like we whittled it
No,
down
I,
like
I
kind of
believe it.
fast, and then the last 10 was the next half of the video. Like it's a problem.
Right? No, I mean it's literally because we have to go through like, okay, why is it like no, no, no? We can just but it's like there's no wrong answer. It's just like impossible.
Yeah.
Where it's like, but no, just love the great, just great stuff. All the
Oh yeah.
debates, all the things.
All right. So with that, we will see you all next time.
Take care, everyone.